This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: cost revealed of policing EDL protest in Luton, arson attack at former Buckingham football ground, and Bedford councillor found guilty of assault.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A protest by the English Defence League in Luton, which attracted only a handful of people, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. The event on New Year's Eve involved 104 officers, most of them drafted in from neighbouring forces. More from Carol Abercrombie.
The far-right group planned the protest in response to an Islamic conference taking place in Luton. The police used public order laws to restrict where they were allowed to gather. A total of 12 EDL supporters were escorted by police to a car park, carrying flags and banners, and there was no trouble. Bedfordshire Police have now revealed the total cost was £23,000.
Around 50 firefighters have been involved in tackling a blaze in the centre of Buckingham after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. More from Matt Lockwood.
Bucks Fire and Rescue Service says they received multiple calls from members of the public after the fire broke out just after 10 o'clock last night. Local residents were told to keep doors and windows shut. Crews from across the county and from neighbouring Oxfordshire were called to deal with the blaze in a derelict sports pavilion. Britain's military strategy against Islamic State extremists has been sharply criticised by a group of MPs. The Defence Select Committee says the UK should be playing a far greater role in the fight against the jihadists. The government says there's been progress in driving Islamic State back, and military action is only one part of this. A taxi driver has been robbed at gunpoint in Milton Keynes in the early hours of yesterday morning. He picked up a man and a woman in Greenleys at around 2:15 a.m. and took them to London Road in Loughton. The woman got out and the driver then felt what he believed to be a gun pushed against his neck. He handed over cash and the pair fled on foot. A Bedford councillor has been found guilty of assaulting two teenagers and using threatening words and behaviour. Doug McMurdo, who represents Sharnbrook, was found guilty by magistrates in Milton Keynes last night. Tony Fisher was in court.
The attack happened almost a year ago on the evening of the 22nd of February outside Sharnbrook Village Hall, which had been showing the Six Nations rugby. The court heard the 53-year-old punched the first teenager in the eye and then punched the second on the nose after he was handing his glasses back to him. Lead magistrate Neil Arnold said McMurdo was the aggressor, his words were insulting and his speech slurred due to alcohol. He said the evidence of the use was compelling and corroborated by the footage taken on one of the teenagers' mobile phones. McMurdo says he'll appeal his conviction. Sentencing was postponed till next month.
A campaign is being launched today urging people to make sure they're registered to vote ahead of the general election. Every Facebook user will get a reminder from the Electoral Commission to mark what's been dubbed National Voter Registration Day. It's estimated more than 7 million people are missing from the electoral roll. In sport, 2 goals in the last 5 minutes gave Liverpool a 2-1 win at 10-man Bolton in last night's FA Cup fourth round replay. Liverpool will travel to Crystal Palace in the next round. The weather, cold with outbreaks of rain and sleet continuing. Skies will clear later, a maximum temperature 5 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Coming up on this morning's show, protests, votests, and Lockers does a road test of something or other, probably the patience of people living in beds, hards and bugs.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
But why would I even talk when this exists?
Last night I said these words to my girl. I know you never even try, girl. Come on, 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 come on. Please, 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 oh yeah, like I
bonus, bonus, bonus.
That makes you feel alright. I'll get you anything, my friend, if it makes you feel alright. 'Cause I don't care too much for money, but money can buy me love. I'll give you all I've got to give if you say you love me too. I may not have a lot to give, but what I got I'll give to you. I don't care too much for money, but money can buy me love. Money just can't buy. I don't care too much for money. Money can buy me love. Just can't buy. I don't care too much for money. Money can buy me love. Buy me love. Love. Buy me love.
Now, Bedfordshire Police spent more than £20,000 on policing an EDL march where only 12 protesters turned up. I remember this. Luton, New Year's Eve, in response to an Islamic conference that was being staged in the town. Catherine, you got more on this. The figures, what do the figures show from our Freedom of Information request?
Well, we asked them what the extra cost of that day was compared to an average day of policing in Luton, and we were told that the projected extra costs were £23,111. Now, we also asked what the cost of policing overtime for that day was, and we were told it was £3,231. So 104 police officers were listed as working on that operation, as well as 5 specials.
And remind us about the march.
Well, how could we forget? We had a conversation with a police officer about that one that I think will stick in our minds.
Yeah, he got a cob on, didn't he?
Well, there was quite a big build-up. Now, the police were saying that it was all in hand, that they didn't know how many people were coming, but people had nothing to fear. Do you remember we spoke to a couple of shopkeepers who said that they were not going to take the risk and open, and he was quite annoyed at that.
And can I just... whenever there's an EDL march, I never want to cover it on the show, and I'm always hit down by people higher up than me. I never want to cover an EDL march because I don't think it's newsworthy, and I don't want to give them the oxygen of publicity.
But still, the thing is that the rumour goes round, if people hear the words EDL, and the shopkeepers made a decision that he didn't think was necessary, but, you know, they were frightened.
Okay.
So they didn't know how many EDL protesters would turn up, and they told us that, but they had to ensure public safety. Now, when they were contacted by the group, they were sufficiently concerned about potential disruption to local people that they used a section of the Public Order Act to stipulate where the EDL would be allowed to gather. I think there was also some concern about a counter-protest as well and keeping those two parties apart. Now, that was in a car park in Crawley Road at the junction with Telford Way, and that's some distance from the Islamic conference which was taking place, and that was taking place at Venue Central in Leagrave Road.
And the march, well, there were only 12 people. I can't imagine they got up to much mischief.
No, and as the police said, it passed peacefully, very peacefully, a lot more peacefully than people would imagine. As you say, total of 12 people who were escorted by a lot of police to the car park carrying flags and banners. No trouble at all. Now, Luton Borough Council told us that the police used proportionate deployment of resources based on intelligence to minimise disruption to the public.
Well, the muff up here, I would imagine, would be the intelligence. It works out, what, £2,000, just under £2,000 per protester. It seems a lot of money, but I don't think you can criticise the police for it. They were prepared.
And the people who knew about it that we spoke to would have appreciated seeing a police presence there. You know, the guy that didn't want to open his shop.
The Taxpayers Alliance normally come out and Yabu sucks with this kind of thing. What did they say about this?
Well, normally the Taxpayers Alliance are the first ones to say, they shouldn't have spent so much money, and that's their job. But they actually told us that Bedfordshire Police were absolutely right to spend this amount of money. It said the police force had to prepare for trouble, and it costs money, and they said it was a good example of the use of taxpayers' money for spending.
I think it is. They thought there were... which station am I at? Yeah, I can have an opinion here. They expected there to be trouble, so they spent a few quid.
They suspected there might be.
Yeah.
But it was more about reassuring the public, wasn't it?
I think you can't complain about this, I don't think. But yeah, and I don't mind doing this because this is an interesting story, but whenever there's an EDL march expected in Luton on Saturday, I never want to do it. I'm always shouted down.
Well, we don't tend to publicise events like that before they happen because it could be seen as advertising it to people who wouldn't ordinarily be involved.
I think they're so un-newsworthy, these people, that I don't want to give them any publicity at all. I don't know, you can give us a call on that. Your thoughts on that, please. 08459 455 555.
You got a thing about you. I just can't live without you. I really want you, Eleanor, near me. Your looks intoxicate me. Even though your folks hate me, there's no one like you, Eleanor, really. Eleanor G, I think you're swell, and you really do me well. You're my pride and joy, etc. Eleanor, can I take the time to ask you to speak your mind? Tell me that you love me better. I really think you're groovy. Let's go out to a movie. What do you say now, Eleanor? Can we? Filter the lights with down low. Maybe we won't watch the show. I think I love you, Eleanor. Love me. Eleanor G, I think you're swell, and you really do me well. You're my pride and joy, etc. Eleanor, can I take the time to ask you to speak your mind? Tell me that you love me better. Eleanor G, I think you're swell. Eleanor G, I think you're swell.
I'm obsessed with Flo and Eddie at the moment, the spin-off of the Turtles. They're brilliant, apart from their reggae album. Yeah, I know. They got really into, I don't know, like drugs and stuff, and were really paid off with their record company, so they made
They got into, like they were out of them.
and they made a reggae album, which is just... I hate reggae, but anyway, I'm obsessed with them at the moment, and I think they're... I think
The next big thing.
And this is what's so great about 60s songs, right? We've played 3 60s songs, we've done a news story, and I've still got a minute to spare. This is the thing, and I know we tease you about BBC introducing Kelly, but I genuinely think it's brilliant. Okay, this is a rare little... I think it's brilliant. I think all of the hard work that Gary Floyd puts into it... No, I genuinely think it's brilliant, okay, that we support unsigned bands, and with the BBC as well doing it, which is amazing. I can imagine how exciting it is for them. My one criticism... Cut the songs down, guys. Too long. Songs are too long, guys. Too long.
They start to enjoy themselves, don't they?
Too long, guys. Too long. No, too long. Listen, when you're the Beatles and you've been going for 7 years, then you can do a 7-minute song, okay? Until then, 2.5 minutes, guys. Boom. That's it. Keep it nice and short. And then I might play it twice. I wouldn't play it twice, but I just, that's my tip.
You would play it, not moan about it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'd play all of it.
Yeah.
Hey, we've got one coming up today, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
How long is it?
Oh, do you know what? It's about 4 minutes.
Well, there we go.
Soz.
Flippin' heck.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the A421 Standing Way in Milton Keynes, it's not looking too bad on the speed sensors, but there are the roadworks on the Kingston roundabout, so expect delays later on as it starts to get busier. Also on the or A413 in Whitchurch. There's some temporary lights at Oving Road, so that could cause some delays later on, but it's all looking fine at the moment. Looking at the speed sensors, looking at the motorways on the cameras, and the M1's looking fine around junction 10, and no queues building up at the moment on the M25, and no reports of any problems on the trains either. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you very much, Samantha. 6:15. It's Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Iain Lee. And these are your heads. On BBC Three Counties Radio. A protest by the EDL in Luton, which attracted only a handful of people on New Year's Eve, cost Bedfordshire Police more than £20,000. 50 firefighters have tackled a blaze in Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. And Britain's military strategy against Islamic State extremists has been sharply criticised by a group of MPs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Top guy.
If you've missed any of the programmes here on BBC Three Counties Radio, you've missed things like this.
Well, no, you're from. You can give me your opinion as someone from the British Parking Association. Is it unfair?
Well, there are so many different instances that.
Okay, here's an instance.
Before then, in this part of the programme, I'm going to meet Sam Ackerman. Now, she's from High Wycombe. And at her heaviest, she weighed 21 stone.
Yeah, I think I had everyone around me just love me enough to accept where I was.
But there is a way you can hear it all again.
And I used to have to put up with the house band who couldn't read my music very well and doing a lot of songs I didn't particularly want to sing anyway.
But the question is, Elkie Brooks, do you still do bar mitzvahs?
bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Now, if you want to stay married or keep your relationship alive, should you avoid Facebook?
Allowing you to listen to what you missed. bbc.co.uk/Three Counties Radio.
Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. Mama said, Mama said, Mama said, Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, Mama said, Mama said. I went walking the other day and everything was going fine. I met a little boy named Billy Joe, and then I almost lost my mind. Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, Mama said, Mama said, Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said. My eyes were wide open, but all that I can see is the chapel bells are tolling for everyone about me. But I don't worry, 'cause Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, Mama said, Mama said, Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, and then she said, someone will look at me like I'm looking at you one day, and then I might find I don't want you any your way. So I don't worry, 'cause Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, Mama said, Mama said, Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. My mama said, Mama said, hey, don't you worry. Mama said, hey, don't you worry now. Mama said, hey, Mama said there'll be days like this, there'll be days like this. Mama said,
It's like killing a bee with a bazooka.
Mama said there'll be days like this.
Of course, the best pop songs, and Scott has reminded me of this, and this is spot on. I'm trying to remember. There's a Jan and Dean song that's got the most ridiculously long title. The best songs should be under 2.5 minutes. I think like 2:12 is the optimum prime. No, that's a Transformer. Is the best time for a song, but should have the longest title, and wherever possible include brackets. I love songs that have got brackets in.
Do you mean for, like, feet someone? When they feet someone?
I've got literally no idea.
Featuring.
You know, feet.
No, not in the no, in the title.
Oh. I know what you mean.
I can't think of any examples.
I'm like a bird, brackets.
Why are you doing Nelly Furtado? I'm talking classic pop here, mate. Like Anastasia. I'm talking classic here.
I'm out of love, brackets, set me free with my glasses on.
Set me free.
Wow, is Tina Turner in the building? What is...
You're simply the best.
Yes.
We'll turn to get on with the cleaning.
Tina, pack it up, please.
Now, there's a Jan and Dean song. If Philip in South Nord is listening, this is the only time in my life I'm actually asking Philip from South Nord to call in. What's the name of it? It's called like the Anazyme and Montezuma.
Oh, crikey.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Jan and Dean, there's a band. Oh, let's see what. We'll have the song I asked for. And then can we have Jan and Dean... sorry? Either Surf City or Dead Man's Curve. The choice is yours.
I'm on Surf City now. Do you want me to get it?
That's Surf City. That's a cracking record.
2 minutes 26.
Beautiful. Those guys know how to do it. The only surfing song to go to number one. Anyway... in the States. 08459 455 555 is the phone number. Let's get the longest song titles, and those song titles that have got brackets, please, and also song titles where they don't even bother with the G at the end of the words. They put a little apostrophe. Going south. I'm not going south. I'm going south.
Sitting on the dock of the bay.
Yeah!
Going loco, brackets, down in Acapulco.
Boom! You got it, Catherine, at last. We speak the same language.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Here we go. Campaigners are aiming to sign up 250,000 young voters today in a bid to boost the electoral register. And the way they're doing it, well, it may surprise you. At the University of East Anglia, students will be encouraged to sign up in exchange for a selfie with a goat. Goats for votes. Well, Alex Stevenson is the Hertfordshire-based parliamentary editor at politics.co.uk. Am I the only one, Alex, thinking this sounds like absolute nonsense and these people shouldn't be allowed the vote?
Well, goats do not form a particularly prominent part in British politics in everyday life. I haven't really come across any goats in my years as a parliamentary journalist, although I guess some MPs could definitely be compared to goats in some respects, but we won't go there. This is pretty unusual.
Oh, you've made me laugh, Alex. Thank you.
Hopefully this might get one or two students who would otherwise not care less heading down and maybe registering to vote. That might be a good thing.
If it gets them in the ballot box on the actual election, that would be great. But, I mean, just because they're registering to vote doesn't mean they're actually going to go and do it, does they? Do they?
Well,
does it?
Well, fundamentally, the problem that the government has with students is that they don't seem to have factored in is that students are very lazy people. The reason that there's this whole problem is because the switch to this new kind of voting registration, before the university would do it for the students, they would just do it in a big block and it would just be done. But now, students, like everyone else, have to do it themselves. And the problem is that students... for some reason, are not bothering to do this just yet, and so they have to be persuaded. And if that means getting goats involved, then so be it.
Well, it surprises me because saying that, I don't know if I did vote when I was at university, but I remember kind of being more... or being with people who are more politically aware and politically active as a student at university than in kind of my late 20s and 30s.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And when I was at university, I couldn't have cared less at university about this sort of thing. But then there all of a sudden, these guys who were really, really into it. I mean, they were really extreme. So you probably get both extremes, don't you? People who are not that bothered, and people who actually decide that, oh yeah, this is me. This is who I want to be. And you see those guys at the party conferences. These very young people, and of course that's very, very good and well done on them for getting involved.
A little bit sad, though, the extremes they go to sometimes.
It is a little bit geeky. You know, they're trying really, really hard. On the one hand, it might make them look like a loser. On the other hand, maybe one day they'll end up running the country.
Well, yeah, no, and I've been to conferences, and boy, some of those young Tories and young Labours and young Lib Dems, he said, covering all bases, they are very special indeed, very special people indeed. Is it? part of this election is being argued around tuition fees, with Labour saying they're going to cut tuition fees by £3,000. Is that the way to get students involved, by talking about issues that directly affect them?
By bribing them? Well, that sounds excellent.
Yes.
Think, you know, so in general, the best way to get the electorate involved is, of course, to offer them things that they like the sound of. The only slight problem with that, of course, is that after the Liberal Democrats broke their promise on tuition fees, students could quite reasonably decide that they don't trust any of them at all.
Yeah. Alex, listen, it's really good to talk to you at this ridiculous time in the morning. We'll get you back if you're happy with that, because you made me chuckle about something that could have been a little bit dry. Alex Stevenson from Hertfordshire. He's the parliamentary editor at politics.co.uk.
How can it be dry when we're talking about goats?
I just think if you're going to have a selfie with a goat, I'm assuming that they'll probably be drunk or high on drugs or something, these goats, these students. And I just... I know exactly what it is. I've worked out what the problem is, why students aren't voting. Because they're registered at home. So if they're going away to a university... I didn't register when I was at university because I was still registered at my mum's house.
Yeah, no.
At home.
Postal votes, though.
There's home and home.
Yes, there is.
I don't think there were postal votes in my day.
No, exactly. Otherwise I would have voted. I didn't really give a stuff about politics till I probably owed my own house.
You were too busy...
What, university? It was a very political year when I went to university. It was 1995 and everyone was going on about this great young Prime Minister that we'd just voted in and overthrown the man. I hadn't voted.
The year before I went to my university, all the students who were very politically minded in the year above us had a sit-down protest that went on for about a week on the campus. It was quite a big news story. And then my year turned up and we were all like, yeah, whatever. We couldn't give a stuff. Two girls for every boy. Huh? That would just intimidate the hell out of me.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, Lee is called to report that there's been an accident between junction 11 for Dunstable and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road. That's causing a lane to be blocked just about half.
Oh no!
11.
Poor Elaine! Not again!
Luton, the North Circular Road has a lane blocked between
she's ignorant.
Interchange and the Iron Bridge, and that's causing delays from the M1 at the Staples Corner flyover, adding to the normal rush hour queues. And in Hertford on Ware Road, there's roadworks at Rowley's Road, so that could cause some delays later on. On the trains, the 701 service from High Wycombe to Banbury is delayed. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Maybe a laxative?
So, why?
Well, if a lane is blocked,
yes,
maybe she needs a laxative to unblock her.
Well, maybe, but or just some people to move the blockage out of the way.
Wow, is that bad for her? Is it?
Well, it could cause some problems.
You really don't get the joke at all, do you?
I kind of get it, but not really. It doesn't really work. A road is not a person.
But Elaine is, and she's got feelings.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 6:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A protest by the English Defence League in Luton, which attracted only a handful of people, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. The event on New Year's Eve involved 104 officers, most of them drafted in from neighbouring forces. Around 50 firefighters have been involved in tackling a blaze in the centre of Buckingham after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. Crews were called just after 10 o'clock last night. And Britain's military strategy against Islamic State extremists has been sharply criticised by a group of MPs. The Defence Select Committee says the UK should be playing a far greater role in the fight against the jihadists.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
2 goals in the last 5 minutes gave Liverpool a 2-1 win at 10-man Bolton in last night's FA Cup fourth round replay. Brendan Rodgers' side travelled to Crystal Palace in the next round.
We'd obviously shown a lot of chances before they got the penalty, and I think you can see in the replay that was no near a penalty. So we 1-0 down, that pitch on the back foot away from home, but I thought the players again showed the character and the spirit that's within the team. We hit the bar, must have been about 5 or 6 times tonight, created other chances, but eventually we got there in the end. We'd had a lot of attackers on the field at the end, and obviously their quality came through.
And Bolton's exit means they will host Watford in the Championship a week on Saturday, February the 14th. Watford striker Odion Ighalo has been shortlisted for the Championship Player of the Month award for January after he scored 7 goals last month. Louis van Gaal has been charged by the FA. It's over comments he made to the media after Manchester United's goalless draw at Cambridge. Formula 1 World Champion Lewis Hamilton has described his first week of pre-season testing as pretty special after his Mercedes team dominated in terms of laps completed in Spain. However, the media were warned not to question the Stevenage driver about his latest breakup with on-off celebrity girlfriend Nicole Scherzinger. And as the countdown to Rugby's Six Nations continues, the roof at the Millennium Stadium will be open for tomorrow night's opener between Wales and England. Both teams must agree for it to be closed. Wales said yes, England said no. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 7.
Is it about a gap year?
Hello, is that Mr. Woods? Yes. Hello, Mr. Woods. Good morning. My name's Detective Sergeant Brown.
Okay, so long song titles with brackets. Buzzcocks, ever fallen in love, brackets, with someone you shouldn't have fallen in love with? Kyle says San Francisco. If you go to San Francisco, brackets, be sure to wear some flowers in your hair.
Yeah, good tip.
That's a terrible record. Who wrote that song?
Howard Kaylan.
No, John Phillips.
Oh,
the
right.
Papa. Stranglers, bracket. Oh, this is good. Stranglers. Thank you, Stephen. Brackets. Get a close brackets. Grip. Brackets on yourself. Close brackets.
So take the brackets out. What does it read?
Get a grip on yourself.
What are they talking about?
Well, I don't know, stranglers or anything. Anthony says, I would do anything for love, brackets, but I won't do that. The thing about the bracket is nearly all song titles with brackets would work without the brackets.
Yeah, I know. That's the point of brackets.
What is the point of the brackets and the Kinks? Brackets A, brackets, face in the crowd.
Well, I think it's called a... what's it called? Sub clause?
There we go, that'll do it. Are there any record shops in Milton Keynes, by the way? Matt will know. Matt?
Yeah, go all there, yeah.
OK.
Excellent.
That's where I'm going this afternoon, then. I'm going to go to Milton Keynes and go... What was the name of that shop again, Matt?
Yeah.
OK, thank you very much indeed. What have we got in the papers, Kath?
All kinds of stuff.
Aye.
Poor old Clark Carlisle on the front page of The Sun talking about the reasons behind his accident. He leapt in front of a lorry hoping to die, says the front page of The Sun.
Well.
Poor lad. I really like Clark Carlisle.
Now, I'd not heard of him until this, and I know he's a local hero. He's famous. He's like more than locally famous, is he?
Yeah, but I had a soft spot for Clark Carlisle way before this. Remember, whenever we talk about football, if we talk about racism in football,
yeah.
he's a real advocate for a level playing field in terms of...
Well, you have to in football, otherwise it's not fair.
Yeah, sometimes you can't
Literally.
play it. But, also he's spoken about his mental health battles in the past and stuff, and he's a very eloquent man, and kind of a rare thing in football, someone who's obviously got a brain and knows how to use it. It's such a shame that it's come to this with him.
Speaking of people who've got brains and know how to use them, that does not describe vapists. My nemesis, the e-cigarette smokers.
I went to a family party a couple of months ago, and they were all sitting around the table sucking on these things.
And I bet they thought they were so clever, because I haven't smoked a cigarette in 3 months.
They think they've stopped smoking.
Well, I'm just sitting back, because whenever I slag off vapists and e-cigarettes... Now, you know these e-cigarettes, don't you?
Well, what I object to is in Watford now, they've opened up a vapist shop. So it's like a bar type thing.
Okay.
You go and you try your different things and sit back and chill out.
OK, well, that's great news.
And smoke you.
They're very, very aggressive people. The amount of abuse I get on Twitter...
The ones that are on Twitter and contact you are aggressive.
They're always so rude. And I'm just biding my time now, because they're all going, oh, it's much safer than normal cigarettes. Oh, is it? E-cigarettes produce harmful chemicals and may not be a safe alternative to smoking tobacco, scientists warned yesterday. Experiments on mice showed they suffered mild lung damage and became susceptible to infections. Now, the words that's important here, e-cigarettes produce harmful chemicals and may not be a safe alternative. I'm just biding my time till those figures and those stats come out, vapists, and then we're doing a whole 3-hour special, and you can all phone up and apologise to me. I'll unblock all of you on Twitter, all 372 of you on Twitter, and you can apologise to me online.
But regardless of, I mean, you can't disregard the Ev there, but regardless of that, your beef has been that it normalises addiction, and actually what you get is people who are addicted for longer because it might not kill them.
Normalises smoking to my kids, which I don't like. Phil's on the line. Morning, Phil.
Good morning, Ian.
What you got for us, boss?
You disappoint me. I thought you were a man with taste. I know you love Paul McCartney, which I do.
Yeah.
But Scott McKenzie's, if you're going to San Francisco wearing your flowers.
Oh, it's blimmin' awful.
No, I was 9 years old in Jersey, having the best holiday of my life with my mum and dad.
Were you wearing flowers in your hair and dropping LSD at the age of 9?
No.
If you're going to St Helier...
Yeah. And I know one of you guys has been to San Francisco and seen the bush.
Me.
Sorry?
Seen
The bush. The bushman jumped out.
Yeah, and I saw the bush. I met the bush.
Did you? Did you talk to him? Because I just ran away.
Well, no, we were on the other side of the road. But
What is the... Phil, what is the bush?
The bush is the guy. He's a beggar, basically. He's a beggar. Rather than sell big issue, he hides behind these twigs.
And jumps out.
And he jumps out and he's down by the Fisherman's Wharf.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's where I saw him.
Yeah, he was there. I mean, it is quite incongruous because he's in the middle of the pavement, but you do wonder what this heap of twigs is doing, and then out he pops.
The thing is, though, Phil, I can't take anything Phil says seriously when he thinks that this is a good song.
Yeah, but Paul McCartney's good as well, isn't he? Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah.
Let it go, go.
If you're
Going to San Francisco. Join in, Phil.
That's brilliant.
Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair and hang out with all the dirty hippies. It's just an awful, tedious song, Phil. I'm afraid I have to let you go. You've got your banned for listening for the rest of the week.
But well done for corroborating my bushman experience.
The thing is, San Francisco, 1966-67, it was full of, you know, it was full of...
Still is.
Well, yeah, but not this turgid San Francisco.
They were too tired to do anything more upbeat.
Be sure to wear some flowers in your hair. All right, hippies. All right, hippies. You go off and take some acid, and you go and have your love-in the park. I'm going to go and do some work.
There's too many hills in San Francisco. Too many hills.
There are a lot of hills, yeah.
It's too hilly.
Got any other stories?
Yeah, loads. I've got like 4 papers here. Do you want me to read them?
Yeah.
Oh, out loud. Yeah, there was a story. There was a story we saw. A cheeky driver clocked travelling at almost 100 miles per hour. Told cops he was late.
Told who?
Cops.
Okay,
he
that's
was
close, isn't
probably
it?
the California Highway Police.
Chips. Eric Estrada.
I had a big thing about Eric Estrada.
Officer Poncherello, yeah. Of course you did. Of course you did. Swarthy. Very swarthy. What was he? Was he Mexican?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. But
Eric
Poncherello's isn't it an Italian name?
No. Well, he would be Hispanic.
Well, Estrada is, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a son called Eric Estrada, and he's bracket son of Eric Estrada in papers.
Eric Estrada's got a boy called Eric Estrada.
Yeah.
Is he Eric Estrada Jr.?
Eric Estrada, bracket son of Eric Estrada.
That's not his name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, he was 100 miles per hour. What did he tell the cops? What did he tell Poncherello and the other fella?
That he was onto a speed awareness course?
Yes.
There we go.
The man in his 50s was in a Nissan Pathfinder when he was stopped on the M6 toll between Lichfield and Burntwood, Staffordshire. Well, everyone knows the M6 toll is where rich people pay to speed, isn't it?
I don't. Is that what the rule is?
That's what the rule is.
Is it? Oh.
In my car. A police No, I would never do that. A police spokesman confirmed the motorist had made the excuse he was trying to get to the course when he was late and pulled in. He was from Sale, Greater Manchester. Of course he was. He was issued with a summons on the spot. Speed awareness courses are offered as an alternative for a fine and points. They shouldn't be.
Sorry?
They shouldn't be.
What?
Speed awareness courses.
I'm up to 9 points now.
My husband's done a few speed awareness courses. Surely that defeats the object.
Yeah, totally. I tell you what, listen, we'll come back for some more chitty chat in a minute. We'll talk about dog poo, Superman, and Satan. But before that, I really need to find out what on earth is going on with Elaine.
Travel news for beds, cards, and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's been an accident between junction 11 for Luton and 10 for the M1 Luton Airport Spur Road. The Highways Agency have tweeted that their officers are working to clear the accident, but there are delays from junction 12. On the A1M southbound, it's looking very busy between junction 8 for Stevenage and 7 for the A602. And on the A1M southbound, a bit further south, it's looking very slow between junction 3 for St Albans and 1 for the M25. On the North Orbital Road, it's very busy around the M25 junction 21A roundabout, and there's been an accident on the A406 as the lane blocked between the Neaston Interchange and the Iron Bridge. That's causing delays from the M1 Staples Corner flyover. On the trains, the 701 service from High Wycombe to Banbury is delayed. Samantha Breath, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. What are you looking at Matt longingly for?
Because I was hoping Matt might, at this point, reach for the empty coffee cups and...
Matt is a trained... Matt, what are you trained at?
Lots of things. what's that? Karate. I can do that.
Karate.
Karate.
He's a karate man. Okay.
Yeah.
I meant work-wise. Are you a trained journalist?
Unbelievably, I am.
Wow. Are you a trained BJ?
Yeah.
How are you with electronics?
Not very good.
You know, like things you plug in and fill with water.
Not very good. I can change a plug though.
Okay.
It's not getting it, is it?
6:46. It's Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A protest by the EDL in Luton, which attracted only a handful of people on New Year's Eve, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. 50 firefighters have tackled a blaze in Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. And a taxi driver has been robbed at gunpoint in Milton Keynes in the early hours of yesterday morning. We'll speak to Jamie in Luton in a bit. Before that, let's get the weather. Here's Alina.
Beds, Herts and Bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
We're on snow watch this morning, Ian, as a band of precipitation pushing its way down from the northeast, which is a mix of rain, sleet, but for many, some snow, giving a covering in places. Probably going to be around for an hour or so before it clears away southwestwards. And then behind it, quite a bit of cloud, but eventually some sunny spells coming through, but also further showers on and off through the afternoon. And as cold air starts to tuck in, these showers where we do see them, and they will be a bit hit and miss and few and far between, but they could well bring some snow flurries through this afternoon. Quite a cold northeasterly breeze, making highs of 4 or 5 Celsius seem colder than that. Cold tonight, clearer skies, 1 or 2 snow flurries around, but also the risk of ice on untreated surfaces. We still have a yellow warning from the Met Office for ice and also for snow. Temperature tonight down to -2. For tomorrow, much different day, bright, dry, good spells of sunshine, but a very strong northeasterly wind developing, bringing some very cold air from off the near continent. So tomorrow, highs of 4 or 5 Celsius will feel like sub-zero in the wind chill. For the weekend, it's less cold, but often cloudy. Can't rule out 1 or 2 showers on Saturday.
BBC Introducing.
BBC Introducing will play any style of music going. We want to hear everything that is made.
We've got BBC Introducing here. You sell BBC Introducing to us, Kelly Betts.
Hi, BBC Introducing.
But remember that Gary Barlow and the Beatles were once unknown.
Yeah.
Away you go.
BBC Introducing is a show... Oh, Echo, thanks.
Hang on, let's do some production values. Hang on a second.
Okay.
We'll be with you in a second. Be with you in a second, Jamie.
OK, mate.
We're just going to... Kelly's just going to sell BBC Introducing, and we're going to do some production values. Hang on a second.
Good.
Hang on a second. Right, here we go.
BBC Introducing is a show dedicated to the unsigned musicians and bands and upcoming musicians and bands of the Three Counties, Beds, Herts and Bucks. We have a show every Saturday evening from 8 p.m. where we play all of the music made right here where you live.
And don't forget, of course, that the Beatles and Gary Barlow were once unknown.
They were.
There we go. That's good. We're done.
Thanks.
Jamie!
Morning.
We're going to play a BBC Introducing act after this very, very phone call, sir. So what have you got for us?
Vaporous.
Yes?
We went to the darts on Sunday, and basically in the 4 hours we were there,
yes,
this lady only took it out of her mouth to have a drink. That was it.
Are we talking about the vape cigarette?
Yeah.
OK, good. That's a relief. Do you need to get that?
No.
OK. Are you sure?
They can wait.
What? It's a little bit irritating.
Hang on.
He's going to put the phone down on them.
There you go. How's that? Go on then.
Yeah. Oh.
They've gone.
He's good. I like Jamie. He knows what he wants and he don't mess around.
Exactly.
How old was this woman?
I would say mid-40s.
Did she look cool, though?
No, not really. Because you can imagine how many she must have smoked if that in that amount of time, in 4 hours, she's only took it out, I would say, for around about 15, 20 minutes.
See, there's something in that. I wonder whether the finite period that it takes to smoke a cigarette is actually a little marker for people and they realise... It's like having a box of wine.
Yeah. You know
you don't realise how much you've drunk.
You know you've had
once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah.
You know you've had 15 smokes. You don't know how many vapes you've had.
No.
Were you playing darts, Jamie?
No. I was watching the... it was at the MK Dons.
Oh, yeah. Any good?
It was brilliant.
Yeah. Can you play darts?
Yeah, I can do, yeah.
I can play darts, right? I'm rubbish. I can play it and I enjoy it. How do you do the doubles? I can't do the doubles
I'm
to finish
brilliant
off.
at darts. I have to drink a certain amount.
Right.
And then after a certain amount, I get rubbish again. But I'm the same with pool. I'm excellent at pool at a certain level of drunkenness.
There's a challenge there, Iain.
There is.
Take her on.
I will take her on, Jamie. Paul, thank you very much indeed. He was good, wasn't he? I like that. I can wait. Nah, not bothered. You can
That's his business as well.
Or is it somebody else's?
Thank you, Jamie. I look forward to speaking to you again. Right, who have we got BBC introducing this week, Kels?
This week it's Maisie Berry. She's from Cheshunt. She's, I think she's about 21. She's done a lot of travelling and now she's back and she's writing music. And here it is. It's called Dry Your Eyes. That's not it. That's Coldplay.
Oh.
We were once unsigned.
I was told when we first met that I was such a fool for loving you, loving you. Then I see you standing there with that grin on your face, the tube and ice state of your bones. I thought to myself, I've seen this man before, he knocked at my door, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure. You tell a woman once and you can tell a woman twice, and she will make you smile, make everything alright. So dry your eyes and dry your eyes. She gave me a gun one day and said, just like your head maze, always stay red. That's what she said. But you can't fool a fool, you can't school a schooler, and I'm out of order. Please come again another day. Is that okay? You're gonna make me stay. We're gonna fly away. You tell a woman once and you can tell a woman twice, and she will make you smile, make everything alright. So dry your eyes and dry your eyes. You knew when we met I went falling around, holding your breath, now you're stuck in the crowd. And now I'm back and I'm coming back hard to get you tell a woman once and you can tell a woman twice.
Maisie Berry, where's she from, Kelly Betts?
Cheshunt.
How old do you think she is, approximately?
About 21.
And you mentioned something about travelling.
Gap year. Travelling.
Where's she been?
I think Egypt.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
That's not
she's
travelling, that's holidays.
She's on Twitter and Facebook and stuff as Maisie Berry 15 on Twitter.
She'd be crazy not to.
Be crazy.
Social media is so important. We've had a very concerned tweet from Scott, who said, talking about that call we had from Jamie,
Yeah.
and his phone was ringing in the background. That was someone ringing a landline at 6:50. That could have only been an emergency. Jamie is insane. I think he's right.
It's an emergency or a sickie.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Someone's saying, I've been up all night.
Have you got a landline?
Yeah.
Do you know the number? In fact, I know you've got a landline because I've got your number.
I have to second guess myself because I would give you the number we had in Manchester in 1982. which I know much better.
I know my landline from the house I lived in up to the age of 11.
Yeah.
I have no idea what my landline is. And often I don't even know where the blooming phone is.
Often I start writing down my mum's number when people ask me for my landline. It's as short as long, to be honest.
Michelle says, Rocket Man, brackets, I think it's going to be a long, long time. Wham Rap, brackets, enjoy what you do. And here's a good one. St Elmo's Fire, brackets, Man in Motion.
Yes.
I didn't know there were brackets at the end of St Elmo's Fire.
What do they do that for? Does it give them more... Does it make them more noticeable?
I think they get paid $1 per word.
Really?
And 50 cents per punctuation mark.
All right.
I think so. Not sure.
Good.
Dog walkers who bin their pet's poo are being given prize scratch cards by a council... So... that could win them a £25 voucher.
For
doing what they're legally obliged to do.
A voucher for what? It depends what it's for. If it's a voucher for, I don't know, bin bags, I'm all right. If it's a voucher for books, let's have it.
No. Never. A voucher is a voucher, mate. And if it's a voucher for... if you don't want your £25 bin bag...
I get sent loads of vouchers for things I don't buy. I mean...
you never buy bin bags? What do you put what do you put in your bin?
Carriers.
Oh, but have you got a big bin or a little bin?
Little bin.
I got a big bin, you see.
Little bin and big bin for recycling.
Yeah, I've seen that programme.
Oh, look at this. I want to hire this woman. I know that it's supposed to be a damning indictment on the state of the party circuit these days, but she sounds fun.
Go on.
A furious mum has told how her daughter's Frozen party for her 5th birthday was ruined by a tacky Queen Elsa look-alike. Lucy Hindmarsh, 35, said the act arrived 20 minutes late, then put on a sweaty Disney costume over her own still visible black clothes. The Snow Queen No Hoper also had parents laughing in disbelief by singing heavy 70s rock ballads instead of the Disney film's tunes and punching the air, and this is a quote, like a loon.
You know what that mum needs to do?
Lighten up.
No, she needs to let it go, let it go.
But she looks good. I mean, look at that picture. The wig is askew over her own bobbed black hair.
There's another Frozen story in the papers, and this is... I don't like people like this. The sisters who built this snowman, and I'll be honest, girls, it's rubbish. Oh, they're only 5 and 4, and 9 and 7. Well, hang on, you add that up, that's about 30, so it could have been better. The sisters who built this snowman loved their Frozen, capital F, friend so much, they asked their dad if he would let it go back home with them.
Yeah, kids always do that. You say no.
Exactly, you say no. Casey, Heidi, Maisie and Erin did not have the heart to leave Snowy on the North York moors. So Nick Reynolds, 48, took him back in his van to Nether Poppleton. What a made-up place. Mum Joanne, 46, said people have gone out of their way to see it. Well, I'll be honest, it's a really crappy snowman.
No, they're coming to see the mug who didn't have the guts to tell their children about the transience of snow.
Get them to watch Frosty the Snowman and watch them bawl their eyes out.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there's still a lane closed between junction 11 for Dunstable and 10 for the M1 Luton Airport Spur Road. The Highways Agency is saying that there are delays from junction 12 for Flitwick, but there are some traffic officers there working to clear the accident. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very busy between junction 21 for the M1 and 18 for Chorleywood. It's also looking quite slow on the A1M southbound on the speed sensors between junction 3 for St Albans and the M25. Looking at the A1 southbound, that's looking very busy from the St Neots junction down to the Black Cat roundabouts. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway are saying there are possible delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions. It means the 701 and the 716 services from High Wycombe to Banbury are delayed by 10 minutes. And on the London Underground, the Piccadilly line has severe delays between Heathrow Airport and Northfields. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. I was in London yesterday. I used to live in London. I used to use the tube every single day. And I haven't been on the tube for ages. I got lost and confused. I was like a lost little boy. Very sad.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: cost revealed to police EDL protest in Luton, arson attack at Buckingham Football Ground, and Bedford councillor found guilty of assault.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A protest by the English Defence League in Luton, which attracted only a handful of people, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. The event on New Year's Eve involved 104 officers, most of them drafted in from neighbouring forces. More from Carol Abercrombie.
The far-right group planned the protest in response to an Islamic conference taking place in Luton. The police used public order laws to restrict where they were allowed to gather. A total of 12 EDL supporters were escorted by police to a car park, carrying flags and banners, and there was no trouble. Bedfordshire Police have now revealed the total cost was £23,000.
Around 50 firefighters have been involved in tackling a blaze in the centre of Buckingham after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town Football Ground in Ford Street. More from Matt Lockwood.
Bucks Fire and Rescue Service says they received multiple calls from members of the public after the fire broke out just after 10 o'clock last night. Local residents were told to keep doors and windows shut. Crews from across the county and from neighbouring Oxfordshire were called to deal with the blaze in a derelict sports pavilion.
A taxi driver has been robbed at gunpoint in Milton Keynes in the early hours of yesterday morning. He picked up a man and a woman in Greenleys at around 2:15am and took them to London Road in Loughton. The woman got out and the driver then felt what he believed to be a gun pushed against his neck. He handed over cash and the pair fled on foot. A group of MPs has published a highly critical report saying the UK should be doing much more in the fight against Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. The government says the assessment by the Defence Select Committee is inaccurate. A Bedford councillor has been found guilty of assaulting 2 teenagers and using threatening words and behaviour. Doug McMurdo, who represents Sharnbrook, was found guilty by magistrates in Milton Keynes last night. Tony Fisher was in court.
The attack happened almost a year ago on the evening of the 22nd of February outside Sharnbrook Village Hall, which had been showing the Six Nations rugby. The court heard the 53-year-old punched the first teenager in the eye and then punched the second on the nose after he was handing his glasses back to him. Lead magistrate Neil Arnold said McMurdo was the aggressor, his words were insulting and his speech slurred due to alcohol. He said the evidence of the use was compelling and corroborated by the footage taken on one of the teenagers' mobile phones. McMurdo says he'll appeal his conviction. Sentencing was postponed till next month.
A formal investigation is to be launched into whether Tesco has treated its suppliers unfairly. It'll be carried out by the Groceries Code Adjudicator, which arbitrates between supermarkets and suppliers. Hertfordshire-based Tesco says it is already changing the way it works with suppliers and it will cooperate fully with the investigation. In sport, 2 goals in the last 5 minutes gave Liverpool a 2-1 win at 10-man Bolton in last night's FA Cup 4th round replay. Liverpool will travel to Crystal Palace in the next round. The weather: cold with outbreaks of rain and sleet continuing. Skies will clear later. A maximum temperature 5 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Morning! Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. I'm off to Milton Keynes after this to buy a shirt. Are there any second-hand record shops? Everyone's saying, go to HMV. No. You misunderstand. It's a Vinyl Friday tomorrow. I'm not going home tonight, so I've got no records. I've got no records with me, so I need to go to a second-hand record shop and buy some records for tomorrow.
Have you tried HMV?
Hey, you know what? They might do second-hand records, but...
The HMV, they won't, no.
Might.
And there's Neil... Yep, there's a brilliant... Hang on.
Go on.
Yeah.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC
Neil Young.
Counties Radio.
Neil Young's in one of the papers talking about records, and he's right. New records are rubbish. Because they're new records... Oh, well, where is the blooming thing? Oh, flipping it. I'll tell you what I'll do this, guess. We'll do this bit. What's your beef?
I've just seen this. This is great. Elliot from Bath has got the right idea. Morning, Tracks with Brax.
There we go.
Let Me Love You, brackets, Until You Learn to Love Yourself by Neo. Thanks, Elliot of Bath. And that's actually Elliot of Bath, not Dave of Luton.
I like that.
So Tracks with Brax.
08459 455.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, just made me smile and you noticed it.
Oh, I can't find it. Anyway, Neil Young says, yeah, there may be an increase in the sale of vinyl, but those vinyl records, they're basically CDs on plastic because they're being mastered in the same way that CDs are. So they are compressed, so you lose the top and you lose the bottom. Whereas records from the 60s and 70s, and kind of some of the 80s, they are fat with an F and indeed with a PH. They got a top, they got a bottom, and they got a middle.
My dance set sometimes needs a bit of a smack to play it properly. And I love that.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
It probably needs looking at, do you think?
No, give it a wallop. That's all you need.
Exactly.
It'll be something loose. If there are any second-hand record shops in Milton Keynes, 08459 455 555. Quick recap, Catherine, of what we're talking about, and then we'll crack on.
OK, we're talking about the amount spent by the police policing a 12-man EDL protest.
Yep.
Justified, we reckon, because they didn't know how many people were turning up.
Yep.
20 past talkie time, we did... Oh, Goats for Votes.
Oh.
They're trying to get 250,000 young voters to sign, or prospective young voters, to actually add their names to the electoral register. And some of the ways they're doing it are, well, let's just say...
Stupid.
Nuts.
Goats for Votes. Have a selfie taken with a goat. Who has come up with that?
I think it might be the students themselves. I can't believe an organisation would do that, but we'll be speaking to them in about 15 minutes' time.
Why aren't we involving people in politics? Why aren't we involving people in politics properly so that they feel part of, they feel that they have a say?
I wonder whether the Russell Brand effect will make itself known. Although he's saying don't vote at all, isn't he? But I think at least he's getting them thinking about it.
08459 455 555, and of course the longest song titles that you can think of with brackets, please. Now, as we just said, Bedfordshire Police has spent more than 23 grand on policing an EDL protest in Luton, where only 12 protesters turned up. That's the extra money they would have spent on policing an average day in the town. Well, the protest on New Year's Eve was in response to an Islamic conference that was being staged in the town. Your thoughts, please. Good use of money or a waste of money? Let's talk to Dr. Sean Gabb, who's the director of the Libertarian Alliance. Morning, Sean.
Good morning.
One of the great things about this country is that anybody is allowed to organise a protest.
Well, yes, as long as the police say yes to it. However, I hold no candle for the EDL, and I'm not that committed to the abstract idea of the right to demonstrate in the streets. However, I suspect that the BBC has made this request for information less out of concern for the taxpayers' money than simply as part of its rather leftist political views.
What do you mean by that, Sean?
Well, if this had been an Islamic demonstration, if it had been a demonstration by a gay group or by anti-fascist action, would the BBC have made a freedom of information request to see how much the policing cost in that?
If 12 people had turned up and there had been several police beforehand, yes, of course, there would have been. And you're aware, Sean, that we are based in Luton, which is sadly the home of the EDL.
Yes, indeed. But are you complaining about the misuse of the taxpayers' money by the police who quite plainly got it wrong, or are you suggesting that groups like the EDL should be made to pay for the cost of demonstrating?
Not suggesting either of those things, Sean.
What are you suggesting?
Not suggesting anything. I'm asking the question, is it a good use of money or not? I think it probably was a good use of money.
I can't comment on whether the police made a mistake.
I'm not saying they've made a mistake. I don't know what. Sean, all I'm saying is,
ask your question again.
Go on then.
No, ask your question again.
Well, look, you asked me one and I answered it. This is from my point of view. I don't know why this research was done by the BBC. I'm assuming it's because it's a local story, and only 12 people turned up. I think it's quite a good use of money.
I can't comment on whether it was a good use of money. I suspect.
Do you think it was a good use of money? You can comment on that. Do you think it was a good use of money or not?
In retrospect, no, it wasn't. The police made a mistake.
Could have gone the other way, though, couldn't it? There could have been loads of people and 3 coppers, and then we'd be saying, ooh, those coppers.
It could. What interests me more, however, is the subtext of the story, which is that groups like the EDL should be made to pay the cost of policing their public events.
Where have you got that subtext from?
I suspect it to be the case from my knowledge of how the BBC behaves.
Isn't it funny, the presumptions and the prejudices that we have and how often they are proven wrong? Because that's not the subtext of this story at all, Sean.
Why did the BBC make
That's what you've brought to this story yourself. You've brought your prejudices against the BBC. Can I suggest you put those to one side?
The BBC is a biased leftist organisation, and its actions must be seen in the light.
But Sean, you are
over the past half-century.
You are completely wrong. That may be the BBC, but you're completely wrong in this story.
Yes, but you would say that.
Because I'm part of the media conspiracy.
No, you're not part of the media conspiracy. Right. A conspiracy doesn't have to be a conspiracy when it's wide open.
Okay, but Sean, I would say that because in this case, what you're saying is complete and utter. Well, it's balls, mate, because we've not. Well, no, I would say it because there is no evidence this morning of us saying that the EDL should pay it back. You're the first person to raise that question.
You don't have to say it. It's quite obviously the case. Why did the BBC make this subject access request for the EDL?
Because, hang on, Catherine, who made the request? Was it us here?
Yes.
Okay, because they're from Luton, Sean. We are based in Luton. The EDL are based in Luton. We are based in Luton. We have an intrinsic relationship, unfortunately, with the EDL. So that's why.
Why is it? No, wait. I say I carry no candle for the EDL, but why do you say unfortunately? You are supposed to be a neutral news reporter.
Sean,
you are stating a political opinion.
Sean, do you know what? I'm not a reporter. I'm just a bloke. And yeah, I don't.
You're employed by the BBC, which is supposed to be a neutral.
I know, and isn't it blowing your mind that I'm saying I don't like the EDL and I hate covering stories about them? Now get your prejudices out of your backside.
No. Supposing you were to say on air, I hate and despise gay groups, or I hate and despise the Labour Party.
I don't hate gays. I don't hate any. I hate racists. Sure, I hate racists.
You have a duty.
No, I don't, mate.
You have a duty to make a
neutral
report of the news. Otherwise,
but Sean, we were doing a neutral report, and then you come on and said we weren't doing a neutral report; that we were doing leftist propaganda. Make your mind up.
You are.
Make your mind up, Sean.
I have made my mind up.
I know you have, and I wish that you would come on without your horrible prejudices.
But you've just stated your own prejudice.
Yeah, I don't like the EDL. I don't like the EDL. I think they're a horrible bunch of idiots, and I'd rather not do stories about them.
And if you said that about an Islamic group or a gay group or the Labour Party, you'd be in someone's office in a couple.
No, I wouldn't. I tell you what, if there was a fascist gay group, I would hate them. If there was a fascist Islamic group, do you know what? I'd hate them as well.
I see. So you, as a BBC employee,
here we go,
can state your political opinions on air so long as they are political opinions favourable to the established
Sean, the story, I don't know, listen, if you want to come on one day and have your beef out about the BBC, you're more than welcome to.
No,
do you want to talk... No, Sean, the point is...
You're accusing me of stating a prejudice.
Well, Sean, you did.
It with every breath.
You did, Sean. Listen, do you want to talk about this story, or do you want to go and have a cup of tea?
I'm doing both at the moment. The point is that you sound like a leftist propaganda.
Sean, the point is you sound like a bloody idiot. Sean, listen, I'm going to leave it there, mate. I
thought you would, yes. I'm grateful that you let me go on this long, but the point is...
All right, flipping it. What is everyone's beef this week? Why is everyone being a complete and utter idiot? Sean, say what you want to say. Go on.
A leftist propagandist organisation, and you confirm it with every breath. I'm sorry.
Sean, listen, if I'm a leftist... What's leftist about not liking racists? That's not leftist. That's just, like, humanist, isn't it?
But the EDL claims, and again, I carry no candle for it, not to be racist.
Yeah, but Sean, racists often do. Sean, you're wrong on this, and I'm going to come back, actually. But no, I'm going to come back. It is not leftist to not like racists. Whether they say they're racist or not, that's not leftist, that's humanist. So I'm sorry, sir, I'm not taking that criticism.
The point is that the EDL, and I carry no candle for it...
You keep saying that, Sean. You're repeating yourself.
The thing about the EDL is that it's disliked by the established political parties.
No, Sean. Sean, you're not listening. You've got all these prejudices. You don't like the BBC, yet you're more than happy to come on and spout your nonsense. But it is not leftist to not agree with racism. Well, I don't understand why you can't grasp that basic tenet.
But can't you grasp the EDL's claim, which may or may not be true, that it's not racist?
I can grasp their claim, and it's not true. It's not true.
You are taking sides in a political debate.
I am taking sides. No, it's not a political debate. It's a racist debate. It's racism versus humanism, and I'm taking the humanist side, Sean. It's not. It's political in your eyes, and that's great. Well done. It's not political in my eyes at all.
Well, the point is that when you are spouting the established order's line, of course you can claim it's not political.
Oh, Sean, listen, great talking to you. Bye-bye. OK.
So what was the story again?
So the police have spent £23,000 policing a protest by the EDL that had 12 members. I think that was quite a good use of money.
08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there are delays from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 10 for the Luton Airport spur road because of an accident. And it's also making the A5 southbound very busy between Church Street and the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne, with people trying to avoid those problems on the M1. On the A1M southbound, the Highways Agency have told us that the exit Slip Road at junction 8 for Stevenage is partially blocked because of vans broken down. And looking at the speed sensors on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's very busy between junction 21 for the M1 and 18 for Chorleywood. Also in Cheshunt on the A10 southbound, that's looking very slow now between the Great Cambridge Road and the M25. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway have possible delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield. That's because of speed restrictions. And if you're heading to Heathrow Airport this morning and planning to use the London Underground, there are severe delays on the Piccadilly line between Northfields and Heathrow Airport. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Sammy. 7:16. It is Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A protest by the EDL in Luton, which attracted only 12 people on New Year's Eve, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. 50 firefighters tackled a blaze in Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Every weekday from 12, local people.
Wendy Howson and David Shipley are trustees of the Harpenden charity Spotlight on Africa.
So privileged to see lives change, conditions change.
Local stories.
A death cafe will be popping up in Bedford later this month, opening its doors for you to share sensitive stories and talk of afterlife.
There are people with the similar concerns. And you can have a light-hearted side of it as well, and we often end like that, you know.
Local life.
We're going to be heading off into the unassuming countryside of Bedfordshire.
We all know the brick pits and the industrial spoil that's marked the Marston Vale.
Nick Coffer, weekdays from 12 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Ian's on the line. Good morning, Iain.
Hello, Iain. You all right?
What you got for us?
It's snowing.
Thanks for calling. 08459 455 555 is the telephone number. I'm angry with myself because I lost my temper there with that fella. Lost my temper.
I've known you lose your temper worse.
I'm getting better.
If that helps.
I'm developing as a human being, as a spirit and as a soul. But,
what I think was a shame about that was that the story got lost.
Yeah. Why is it leftist to say you don't like racists? I don't understand why that
is.
Why?
I think he came on expecting to hear something and carried on the argument he'd started in his own head.
I know. Well, he was fun last time. He won't be back. Not on this show anyway. 08459 455 555. Have we got any texts before I crack on?
Let's have a look. Yeah, there is apparently a music store in the Agora Centre, Queensway, Bletchley. Thanks for that, Helen in Milton Keynes.
Need a second-hand record shop in Milton Keynes, please, guys.
Martin in Limbury, long record titles. This one for the win, he reckons. A huge, ever-growing, pulsating brain that rules from the centre of the ultra-world, brackets, Loving You by The Orb.
What's
that, trance?
Did I see The Orb or did I see Underworld? No, it was Utah Saints.
Wow.
No,
really?
I think I did see The Orb. Yeah. I played at my college.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, I saw PJ and Duncan, not through choice.
Now I saw Rolf Harris. Oh, dearie me. Campaigners are hitting campuses and colleges across the country today in a bid to get young people to register to vote. Bite the ballots, hoping to sign up 250,000 teenagers and 20-somethings with a range of events, one of which offers a selfie with a goat. Goats for votes. Let's talk now to Oliver Sidorchuk, who is from Bite the Ballot. Morning, Oliver. Oh, no, hang on, you're there. Morning, Oliver.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. Goats for votes. What is this?
Well, we run National Voter Registration Day. We came up with it this time last year, and it's a day in the calendar for everyone in the country, not just young people, to realise and celebrate their democratic rights. You join the register because if you're not on it, politicians ignore you, and you can't punish or reward them on the 7th of May.
Well, what's a goat got to do with it, Oliver?
Well, we work through partners, so I imagine that's one of our student union campaigns because they're extremely creative. But we run this from London. We're leaning on NUS, National Union of Students, Citizens UK, everyone from Operation Black Vote to Facebook to push out the message today and say you have to be registered. You have to be registered now before the deadline on the 20th of April, because if you're not, you have no say.
Why do you think so many young people aren't that bothered or aren't seemingly bothered?
A big problem is the lack of political education in schools. I mean, people aren't told that the things that they care about are political issues. Everyone cares about politics, they're just not told enough in school. It's seen as an elitist thing that doesn't affect their life. Politics affects everything in our life, from climate change to who takes out your bins.
So what else are you doing to make it, I guess, seem a bit sexier to young people? Because you mentioned the bins. Well, you know, an 18, 19-year-old can give us stuff about who's going to collect the bins.
No, quite. But, I mean, our message is to take power. Because if you don't take power, you are going to be trodden on. And that's really seen in this last government, where, for instance, an age demographic of people who happen to be registered and who can be relied on to vote are over 65s. They've had triple-lock pensions, free bus passes and winter fuel allowance. Students have had tuition fees trebled and have been squashed by this government. I mean, we're not trying to cause an age divide, not at all. Just prove that politicians look to who's on the register and who can keep them in power in May, and they'll write policies to that effect.
Well, this is, you know, with David Cameron suggesting that older people will keep all their benefits. Many people have pointed the finger and said, well, that's obviously you're just buying votes. And they don't seem to be doing anything like that for 20-somethings, do they?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there. And the reason is that we'd suggest is because we need to get organised, we need to get registered, and we need to be voting in record numbers. Record numbers would be 70% of this demographic, and that was last achieved in February 1974. So today, we're calling on everyone, take 3 minutes out of your day, register to vote online by searching that in Google, and you can do it. Just do it. It's taking power for yourself. It's so liberating, and it means everything.
Oliver, good to talk to you. I wish you the very best of luck with that. Thank you very much indeed. Oliver Sidachuk from Bite the Ballot.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Stand corrected on the orb.
Oh, yeah.
It's not trance, it's an ambient classic, nearly 19 minutes long.
Oh, flipping
it. 19 minutes.
So Sainsbury have axed. They were going to have an awards ceremony. We go to awards ceremonies in this ridiculous industry where we get paid far too much money.
Enough.
Well, we've been to plenty. We get paid far too much money, and to make us feel that we're doing something important, we pat each other on the back. We dress up in smart dresses and suits. We have horrible food. All at your expense, by the way, quite often, thank you. And we get little trophies.
And if we don't win, it's all nonsense anyway.
Yeah. Well, Sainsbury's have axed their staff gongs. Party pooper bosses. Isn't it funny? Because in the other paper, it's not party poopers. It's because it's been deemed as sexist and offensive. This is the Sun.
Oh, really?
Party pooper bosses axed an awards bash for supermarket staff after complaints that Rear of the Year... male. Oh, no, hang on. Rear of the Year and sexist employee prizes were offensive. Oh, isn't that interesting? Because it's got the full list of awards here, and yet in another newspaper, it doesn't. And it says that a woman complained. I'm thinking it's the Mail, but I might be wrong. A woman complained because it was sexist female employee, and she thought that was sexist. Mm. It didn't say that there's also sexist male employee and Rear of the Year male and female.
Is that a bit of fun?
Bit of fun, isn't it?
Justin would love that, wouldn't he? Justin would love that.
As well as honouring top performers, the categories included male and female, Rear of the Year and sexist male and female. There are also prizes for the most vain worker, loudest colleague, longest tea break. These are all dealies. And for most blonde moments... Oh, this is why they should pull it. And for pure banter.
Oh.
But store chiefs banned the ceremony for employees in Cambridgeshire.
Yeah.
One employee's fiancé tweeted a promotional leaflet for the night, adding, "Does this leave a bad taste in your mouth too, or have I lost my sense of humour?" You've lost your sense of humour.
Why not?
I found the categories, particularly the ones about which colleague was the sexiest or had the best bottom, extremely offensive. I've complained as many others. Oh, for goodness. Well, just, you're not even... It's an employee's fiancé. You don't even work there. Shouldn't even have a say in it. Is someone trying to make a big fuss out of nothing?
No.
These are the awards.
Okay, all right.
Rear of the Year, male. Sexiest male. Rear of the year female, sexiest female, most vain, longest tea break, just in time for work. Justin. Loudest colleague, Mr. and Mrs. Chatterbox, Mr. and Mrs. Know-it-all, pure banter, hard grafter, colleague of the year, team leader of the year, manager of the year, shining... What's the shining star? What's the problem with that?
Do you know what I think, though?
Yeah.
These people work in supermarkets. Instead of having a big party, give them the money. Give them a bit more money.
Yeah. I hate those dudes. I remember going to a B-Jams party. Oh, very, very drunk. We had it was like a talent night for B-Jams, and I'd left B-Jams at this point. I was working at Safeways at this point. They snuck me back in as a ringer. I was very, very drunk and was I think I made a speech about how Safeways was better than B-Jams as well.
That doesn't sound like you.
Oh, no.
I went to a Topshop party. They were fun because one of the girls I worked with lived in a pub.
What? Oh, really?
Yeah.
So
you know those decorative items sometimes they have around pubs?
Yeah.
She had a porron.
I don't know what the porron means.
You know those
pour
things
on, pour off.
Yeah, you know those like jugs made out of glass that they have in Spain, and they remotely pour wine down your neck, like this.
A yard of ale.
No, it's a jug with a little tiny spout.
What do you mean remotely?
Well, the trick is to get the stream.
Oh, like when you're showing off when you're making a cup of tea.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So we had to go on that.
Oh yeah. You had to go on her spout.
Yeah, we had to go on that. Oh, flipping heck! We had the pub.
I can't think.
Topshop, great days.
Works parties, they never works, do they?
Well, this was good because I was actually mates with them.
Right.
But I don't like the ones where everyone's invited, obviously.
No,
because I am very selective.
I'm never going to a Christmas party ever again. I've decided never going again. I just can't. I can't hack it. I can't hack it.
Well, ours just merge into one, don't they?
Eh?
Because they're at the same place. It just feels like it's one party that I've been to.
I just don't like what's the word? People. That's it, isn't it? Yes. I don't like people. I don't like conversation. I must have been off that day at school when they taught you how to make small talk, because I just don't know how to do it. And I see people doing it. I haven't got a clue how to do it. You know, I was going to go get my hair cut the other day, and I was nervous about the conversation. Needn't have worried. It was great because the hairdresser was cutting my hair, but her husband was there, and so I was chatting to her husband, and we were doing the thing. Well, how much would you have to be paid to go and do something really unpleasant?
Wow.
Yeah, £500,000.
That's your level. You see, that's not small talk. That's not entry level small talk.
There's a lot of entry level. Yes, those are good conversations.
Yeah, but they're the ones that you have with people that you know well normally.
Didn't know this guy at all.
Or people that you know remotely's husband.
Yeah, well, he just the conversation came up. How much would you have to be paid to go and do things that
I had a driving instructor ask me that once.
Oh,
I didn't see him again.
Whoa, you've had a lot of not so oblique sexual come-ons in your life. How did you get to become head girl?
Yeah, I know.
Someone actually said that to you?
Yeah, they did. I knew he was being rude, and I was the joke, but I didn't really understand the joke until about 3 years later.
Blimey. 0845...
Rude, that, isn't it? It's rude.
It is rude, that.
Didn't realise he was talking to my boyfriend at the time, either. He was quite a large rugby fella.
What do you mean he was talking to your boyfriend?
Well, he was talking to my boyfriend, and I went up to, because I was supposed to be hosting the evening, me and the head boy.
Yeah.
And he took the mickey out of me to my boyfriend.
Who was he? Like a teacher or something?
He was someone who'd come in to give us a motivational speech about how we could all achieve. Thanks for that. Idiot.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number. You can text 81333. Start your text 3CR. Let's get the Trav.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are long delays from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road because of an accident between that stretch, and that is also causing it to be very busy on the A5 southbound from Church Street to the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne. Looking at the A1M southbound, and there are still reports that a van's broken down at the junction 8 for Stevenage and it's causing some queues. And looking at the A1 Great North Road on the speed sensors, it's very busy between the St Neots junction and the Black Cat roundabout. On the trains, Chiltern Railway are reporting possible delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions. And on the London Underground, if you're going to Heathrow Airport and using the Piccadilly line, there are severe delays because of a faulty train. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Aidan has emailed in, ian.lee@bbc.co.uk on this Sainsbury's award thing. Ian, why don't they have a Nose of the Year award or Elbow of the Year? Why is it always the buttocks? Very, very good point.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 7:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A protest by the English Defence League in Luton, which attracted only 12 people, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. The event on New Year's Eve involved 104 officers, most of them drafted in from neighbouring forces. Around 50 firefighters have tackled a blaze in the centre of Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. Crews were called just after 10 o'clock last night. And a formal investigation is to be launched into whether Tesco has treated its suppliers unfairly. Hertfordshire-based Tesco says it is already changing the way it works with suppliers and it will cooperate fully.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
2 goals in the last 5 minutes gave Liverpool a 2-1 win at 10-man Bolton in last night's FA Cup fourth-round replay. Brendan Rodgers' side travelled to Crystal Palace in the next round.
We'd obviously shown a lot of chances before they got the penalty, and I think you can see in the replay that was no near a penalty. So we 1-0 down, that pitch on the back foot away from home, but I thought the players again showed the character and the spirit that's within the team. We hit the bar, must have been about 5 or 6 times tonight, created other chances, but eventually we got there in the end. We'd had a lot of attackers on the field at the end, and obviously their quality came through.
And Bolton's exit means they will host Watford in the Championship a week on Saturday, February the 14th. Watford striker Odion Ighalo has been shortlisted for the Championship Player of the Month award for January after he scored 7 goals last month. Louis van Gaal has been charged by the FA. It's over comments he made to the media after Manchester United's goalless draw in the Cup at Cambridge. Formula One World Champion Lewis Hamilton has described his first week of pre-season testing as pretty special after his Mercedes team dominated in terms of laps completed in Spain. However, the media were warned not to question the Stevenage driver about his latest breakup with on-off celebrity girlfriend Nicole Scherzinger. And as the countdown to Rugby's Six Nations continues, the roof at the Millennium Stadium will be open for tomorrow night's opener between Wales and England. Both teams must agree for it to be closed. Wales said yes, England said no. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 8.
There's a voice that keeps on calling me. Down the road, it's where I'll always be. Every stop I make a new friend. Can't stay for long, just turn around and I'm gone again. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow I'll just keep moving on. Down this road that never seems to end. When new adventure lies just around the bend. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, the whole world is my home. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. Down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. There's a world that's waiting to unfold, a brand new tale no one has ever told. We've journeyed far, but you know it won't be long. We're almost there and we've paid our fare with a hobo song. Maybe tomorrow I'll wanna settle down. Until tomorrow, I'll just keep moving on. So if you wanna join me for a while, just grab your hat, come travel light, that's hobo style. Maybe tomorrow, I'll find what I call home. Until tomorrow, you know I'm free to roll.
08459 455 555. Nick's on the line. Good morning, Nick.
Hello, good morning.
What you got for us?
First thing, I'm an immigrant in this country, so I wasn't born in this country, so I don't think EDL loves me too much. But the question was about the English Defence League, right?
Yeah.
And the story. And how was the story titled? What's the headline of the story?
What's the the story today? The top line. Well, Bedfordshire Police has spent more than £23,000 on policing an EDL protest in Luton, where only 12 protesters turned up.
Why is the EDL part important in the title? I mean, why not just say there was a protest of 12 people there and the police sent 107 people, so 107 officers, so they lost, whatever, 23,000. Why is the EDL part important there?
Well, A, because they're local, and B, do you not think that the reason for the protest is important?
No, I mean, I remember a story a while ago when some traveller landlords, they did something with the tenants, right? And they keep saying traveller landlords when they only should be saying like landlords.
Yeah, and we discussed that, we discussed that. But do you not think that the reason of the protest is vaguely important?
I mean, if you want to, that guy that you talked earlier, and he lost your temper, right? If you want to please him, you should say, look, there was a protest.
You don't want to please him.
You don't want to please him, but if you want to say, like, if you want to be 100% correct, politically correct, I mean, is that the EDL, is that really important in the title?
Nick, are you from Luton?
Yeah, I'm from Luton.
Okay, so because the thing is that you might have heard then when we were talking about the protest, and it was only ever supposed to be a one hit because it was about what was happening at the weekend and why some roads were going to be closed. And we spoke to some shopkeepers who were so worried about it because it was the EDL that they weren't going to open up the shop, even though the police said, no, we've got it covered. That's why we referred to it, so you knew that we were referring to another story.
Well, okay. No, that's one question I just wanted to raise.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you for raising it, Nick. I'm glad we sorted that out. We've got any texts?
We've got some texts. Let's have a look. Let's have a look, see what we've got. Why make a disclosure request for police costs for EDL March for the reason of crediting them for spending that amount? Ian Lee. Oh, gosh.
Do you know what? I never want to do a bloody EDL story anyway. So just can we never do an EDL story on this show ever again? Because I always get backlash. I always get a load of abuse for about it. I don't ever want to talk about them anyway.
What? The point was, when we did it the last time around, it wasn't about that. It was about the fact that roads were going to be closed and people would wonder what it was. Yeah, but I've just noticed that this person is someone who just writes in vitriol every day. So, well, I don't know, with different names and that. Pete the Meat doesn't like the Littlest Hobo tune.
What the heck?
So what's the matter with Pete the Meat? What's his beef?
What do you mean?
What's his beef?
What's his beef? Pete
and we've also got lots
his
of
beef is probably bloody good beef.
It probably is a lovely.
Really,
I mean, he'll tell you how to cook it as well.
Really good beef.
And we've got lots of texts coming through talking about how well you did with that interview. So okay, should we just draw a line under it?
Yeah. Hey, the Daily Mail's got very being very rude about Twiggy, isn't it?
Yeah.
They got front page picture of Twiggy looking 65 years old. I wonder why. Oh, because she is 65 years old.
Woman in street, not at work, doesn't look like she's at work.
Can that be Twiggy, face of L'Oreal?
What I like about the Daily Mail, and when I say like, I mean dislike, is the sidebar of shame that you get online.
Yeah.
Where it's women going to the gym, and the headline is, doesn't look her best. Well, she's going to the gym.
Twiggy, tell us that's not your new M&S line. As the new face of L'Oreal and one of Marks & Spencer's best-known models, Twiggy is the poster girl for grown-up glamour. Yet she's been spotted exiting her local London branch of Marks & Spencer's looking rather less elegant. Wearing grubby pink Ugg boots and what appeared to be her pyjama bottoms under a quilted jacket, she was without a scrap of makeup.
Who's writing this? Gok Wan?
No, it's Sebastian Shakespeare.
Oh, a snappy dresser.
This might come as a surprise to L'Oreal, which last month named her as brand ambassador. It's lucky the 65-year-old didn't nip into Tesco instead. The retail giant banned customers from shopping in their pyjamas 5 years ago.
If a woman had written that, people would say, oh, that was very bitchy, there's no need for that.
Yeah.
A man writing that. And what do we learn from it?
That she's getting
Not
older.
got her makeup on.
Yeah.
I mean, really, why?
And there's a weird thing in here about questions that you get asked in job interviews. You've honed your CV to perfection and put on your best interview suit.
Peter.
Sorry? You are confident you've done your homework, and then you come face to face with your prospective boss, only to be asked who would win in a fight between Superman and Batman.
Can you hear me? Right, can I put you straight through?
What?
Yeah, stay on the line.
What's going on?
We're about to find out.
He won't stop talking.
Well, yes, Peter.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, Peter.
I was listening to that story about Twiggy
Oh, yeah.
in the Mail.
Yeah.
I feel more sorry for the Mail journalists, actually, because they've got to live with that for the rest of their life.
I'm sure Sebastian Shakespeare is not...
Oh, you won't even allow Shakespeare on because he's got a local accent.
I think he's making a joke about William Shakespeare.
Shakespeare was from Birmingham, wasn't he?
No, he was a rural man.
He was from Coventry.
Well, yes, but he lived out in the country, near Coventry.
Okay, well, yeah.
But, I think it's a mistake to think he would have talked like that. I don't think he would have.
He wouldn't have allowed him on air, actually, because he's got a rural accent.
What do you think you've got? What do you think I've got?
Well, yes, but he denigrates us, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course he does.
I would never denigrate you,
no,
Peter.
No, not at all.
Looks up
What
the
I'm
word denigrate.
saying is the Mail journalists have got to live with the fact that they work for the Daily Mail, so they've got a bigger axe to
Here's a
carry.
question, Peter. You go for a job interview.
Yeah.
And you're asked, and I know the answer to this question.
I've employed many people, actually, yeah.
Have you?
Yeah, because I was a foreman
formally or informally?
I was a foreman in 2 industries.
Were you?
Yeah.
Who would win in a fight? Sorry?
Yeah, go on then.
Superman or Batman?
Well, the idiot who thinks they're real.
Oh, look at you being all... right.
That's why
But
he's the foreman.
If they were real...
Yeah.
Right, who would win in a fight? And it's an obvious answer.
Well, it's got to be Superman, really.
Tell me why. It's the right answer. Tell me why.
Well, because you can take the bat wings off.
Yeah, Batman's all about the tools, isn't he?
All Batman is a really rich bloke with wicked gadgets. Superman has got superpowers.
He's an alien.
Absolutely, and he's got his own land, hasn't he?
He's got his own land.
Who would win in a fight, Batman or James Bond?
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Is it?
Absolutely.
James Bond shoot him, wouldn't he?
No, but he's got a bulletproof vest on.
I don't know. I don't think they would confront him like that.
Spider-Man hasn't got a bulletproof vest. You can see everything in that suit. There's nothing underneath.
Oh, well, I don't look for that detail, actually.
Can't help it.
You didn't answer my question.
Go on.
Well, I think Spider-Man would win, actually.
I didn't say Spider-Man.
Well, which one do you want now? Superman?
No. Batman or James Bond?
Batman or James Bond? Or Batman, certainly.
Why?
He'd be much more devious than James Bond.
Yeah, there's a darkness to Batman, isn't there?
That's what you're saying.
Absolutely.
This is fun.
And he's got Robin. Who's James Bond got? Girls that always get shot by the end.
Well,
yeah. Break an ankle.
They don't never last, do they?
No.
I mean, he's a one-night man.
Didn't he marry Diana Rigg at one point? That didn't end well. Didn't she get shot in the head?
I like Diana Rigg.
I do.
I think Diana Rigg was one of the most gorgeous ones, actually.
Who was the most gorgeous one?
Well, I mean, the lady who played Pussy Galore, she was stunning.
Who would win in a fight, that lady or Diana Rigg?
Oh, well, that's a no-brainer, isn't it?
You keep saying that, but then you don't answer.
No, well, she would come along with her plane and decapitate the rig.
Thanks for calling, Peter.
You're very welcome.
You are.
I think everyone's underestimating Plenty O'Toole.
I don't really know much about the James Bond women, if I'm completely honest. They're a slight mystery to me. But Batman would beat James Bond, wouldn't he, Dennis?
Batman? No, I don't know. It depends on which James Bond you mean.
Okay, Roger Moore.
If it's that, no. There was an Australian chap who used to walk around with a big piece of chocolate under his arm.
Sorry?
There was
the milk tray man.
Sorry?
The milk tray man.
Well, yeah. Well, he used to walk around with a big lump of chocolate under his arm.
Oh, Alf from Summer Bay.
Yeah, well, that's actually... Miss Riggs got her own back on, and when it came to the kissing scene, she'd been eating garlic. So she put him off altogether. She won. She won all hands down.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling, Dennis.
Bye-bye.
I've
No idea.
I just checked out for the last 10 minutes, and then I checked back in, and I just thought, I'm going to check back out again.
Oh.
08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there are still long delays between junction 12 for Flitwick and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road because of an accident. It's also very busy on the A5 southbound from Church Street towards the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne because of that. On the M25 anti-clockwise, it's looking very busy between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23 for the A1M at South Mims. And on the A1M southbound, that's reports that the exit slip road has been partially blocked at junction 8 for Stevenage. Well, we just heard that is now cleared and moving again. In Clophill on the A6 Bedford Road, it's very slow between the back street and the A507, and the A1 Great North Road is also looking very busy between the Black Cat roundabout and the St Neots junction, with the roadworks being there. On the trains, Chiltern Railway are reporting delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
7:45. It's Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A protest by the EDL in Luton, which attracted only 12 people on New Year's Eve, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. 50 firefighters tackled a blaze in Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. And a formal investigation is to be launched into whether Hertfordshire-based Tesco has treated its suppliers unfairly. Let's get the weather.
Beds, Herts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Morning to you, Ian. Some snow falling this morning, not settling everywhere, but we are starting to see some slight accumulations in places. Equally, some are seeing a bit of sleet and rain mixed in with it. So it is a real wintry mix over the next hour or so. But it will start to clear away south-westwards, and then behind that, some showers on and off through the rest of the day. Increasingly, they will be of snow, but in between there'll be some decent spells of sunshine come this afternoon. So still quite cloudy initially for a time this morning, and then a little bit brighter for the afternoon, but watch out for further snow flurries. It's always going to be a cold day. Temperatures won't get much above 4 or 5 Celsius. And then tonight it turns very cold down to -2, widespread frost, some ice reforming on untreated surfaces, 1 or 2 snow flurries as well on and off through the night, but for most it will be dry. And then for tomorrow, a much different day. Bright, good spells of sunshine, lots of blue sky around, but strong northeasterly wind. It's going to make it feel bitterly cold tomorrow. The thermometer may read 4 or 5 Celsius, but it will feel more like -1 given the wind chill. Something a little bit less cold for the weekend. I don't want to say mild because it won't be. Temperature still around 5 or 6 Celsius, but not as cold. However, there will be a lot of cloud around on both Saturday and Sunday, and that brings a chance on Saturday morning of a few showers. Otherwise, the weekend should be largely dry.
Every weekday morning.
Let me get on with your consumer problems.
Should I expect it to last as a £350 TV or a £250 TV?
Jonathan Vernon Smith.
Have you gone back to the retailer? I went and spoke to the company that you'd paid the money to.
The JVS show fights for your rights and tackles your consumer problems.
So I emailed again and reminded them of the statutory rights, which I've heard in your programme.
If you need our help, email jvsshow@bbc.co.uk.
They've backed down and they have put in writing to me that I no longer owe the money.
And we could do the same for you.
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much, Jonathan. Your team is fantastic because you look after the people.
The JVS show, weekdays from 9 on BBC Three Counties Radio.
There once was a wealthy man who had a wonderful idea to bring children from all places with all kinds of faces together into a sailing ship. There were 40 boys and girls. They would sail their ship around the globe, so they called it the United World. The ship was just 3 weeks from shore when a hurricane bore it down. The waves were big as mountains. They found they would surely drown. They jumped into the lifeboats, rowed away from the wreck. They didn't count them, they hadn't time. 5 children were left behind. The children fought the storm all night and finally fell asleep. They didn't realize the ship had been blown across a reef into the lost island. was a watchful pair of eyes, and living in the valley were people lost in time, ruled over by a tyrant whose face was in a mask. The children must defeat him so they can escape at last from the lost islands. The lost islands.
So, some of the other questions that people are being asked in interviews. If you were a fruit or vegetable, what would you be and why? I think it's a valid question.
A tomato, because it's a fruit or vegetable.
I'd be a leek.
What? Oh, they're very handy.
I can't stop weeing.
Oh.
Well, I can stop. Obviously, I've stopped now, but who knows when it'll start again. Do you remember someone once renamed all of the presenters here at BBC Three Counties Radio as vegetables? It was Scott. All I can remember is Sophie Soleriak.
Oh, I think I was broccoli.
Broccoli Betts.
Yeah.
See, that's good. I was Iain Leake, so there we go.
The affinity was always there.
What was Catherine, Scott? Couldn't you?
Was it like boiled potatoes or something?
Oh,
which I didn't accept.
You don't really have a choice on it. It's not.
Well, the name, the pun needs to be on the name itself, not the method of cooking.
It's not a gift that you can return. They've not kept the receipt on this one. Who is your favourite Doctor Who? Well, Tom Baker.
Kaelwyn.
Tom Baker? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying Colin Baker.
No, he's.
You'd say that, and then they'd think, oh, we've got one here.
They'd say we're going to cut the interview short. I'm afraid it's over. What would you do if you caught a member of staff kissing the boss? Blackmail them. Blackmail the boss.
Good answer.
Get promotion, more money, and more holiday and a nicer car.
What have I caught them in? A net, or it depends?
What's the net got to do with it? Leave her out of it. Is she, unless he's in a net, and then we're in big trouble. Is a Jaffa cake or a biscuit? That's a lazy late night phoning.
Someone thinks they're funny, don't they? I don't want to work there.
Would you
He's wearing a comical tie.
I don't think these are all asked in the same interview.
I was going to say.
Imagine.
I don't think they're taking this seriously.
What's the job for?
Would you rather know a lot about a little or a little about a lot? I know a lot about a little, so I'll have that one. Do you like to sing in the bath? Oh.
Bath? What year is this?
What would you do if the sun died out?
Which sun?
Well, I guess they mean the...
Paper.
You are confident you've done it. Then you come face to face with the prospective boss. I need to be asked the questions. If a hippo falls in a hole, how would you get it out? What type of ice cream are you?
What? I don't want to work there.
These are among the bizarre questions firms are asking during interviews to ambush job hopefuls. These things always come from surveys, okay, and they always give the name of the company that's done the survey, and I'm very reluctant to read them because it's a cheap bit of publicity. But this is by the Association of Accounting Technicians.
They're fun guys.
Gee, that's accountants, is it?
I'm guessing so.
Candidates.
What's an accounting technician?
An accountant, isn't it? That's the technical...
Do they dish out the calculators or something? I don't know. What
we don't really see calculators anymore. No, you can get them on watches.
On your phone and that.
Lynn's on the line. Good morning, Lynn.
Morning, Ian.
What you got for us?
It's snowing like heck in Hazelmere.
Oh, blimey.
And I just wondered whether it's just over where I live, like a little black cloud, or is everywhere else okay? I got to go to Princess Risborough this morning.
Oh, blimey. We need to plot your journey to make sure it's going to be safe.
I can confirm there's a light dusting in Luton.
It's snowing in Luton.
Stop now.
But it's stopped now. Do you need to go today, Lynn?
Yes, I have to.
What time have you got to be there?
About 9 o'clock.
Oh, I'd set off now then. I would, because I'm sure the main roads would be all right. The main road should be good.
It's the side roads you've got to worry about.
It's the side roads.
Yeah, I can normally see from my house. I look over the fields, but I can normally see a little gap through the houses and see traffic moving.
Uh-oh.
And it looks like it's gridlock this morning.
Rona.
Anybody in Hazelmere, I hope you're not wanting to get into Wickham quick.
Yes. All right, Lynn. Well, Lynn, keep listening. Someone will call in with some deets on that. Rona's on the line. Good morning, Rona.
Good morning.
What would you like to say, Rona?
I'd like to know what that song is you played at 7:30 this morning. It sounds like it should be called Maybe Tomorrow, but I've looked that up.
It's the Littlest Hobo theme tune.
Oh, is it?
It was a TV programme in the 80s about this Alsatian dog that was homeless, and he would go around.
He's like Lassie, but not as groomed.
But he solved crimes, didn't he, and helped blind children.
And helped bring families back together and stuff.
Yeah. What, do you like it, Rona, or do you find it quite irritating?
Love it.
Oh.
It makes me feel happy for the rest of the day.
Oh, well, this is why I play it. There's been
It's divisive.
There's been a little bit of a hobo backlash. People are asking me privately in email and publicly on Twitter to stop playing it.
Oh, no. Play it more.
Oh, you want it more? Don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, Rona. Rona, thank you very much.
Snuffers has come up with an alternative interview question. We asked the question, what's the biggest animal you could kill with your bare hands? Very revealing.
I mean, I could kill a big dog, obviously. Done that.
Bear? Bear?
No, I was wearing clothes.
Lion?
No, I was standing up.
OK, that's that sorted. Janet says it's snowing and settling in Beaconsfield. Just in case you're worried about Beaconsfield, anyone? You?
No one's worried about Beaconsfield. Those guys are loaded over there.
They're living La Vida Loca.
Those guys, Beaconsfield is one of the most delightful places in the world. They're literally burning £50 notes now. Literally burning £50 notes to keep their houses warm. They're so wealthy, those guys. Everyone in Beaconsfield is loaded, and no one can dispute that. I've driven through it. I used to go to. What's the pub in Beaconsfield? Is it the White Swan? Probably. Say the White Swan, and you'd probably be like. I used to go there when I was.
King's Arms.
Yeah, sure.
Feathers.
Yeah, I fell in the King's Arms.
Did you?
Yeah, he's got such a lovely hold.
It's beautiful, isn't he?
Anything else, or do we all shoot ourselves now?
No, do you want a political point from Tony?
Oh yeah, go on in politics. Like a bit of politics.
Ollie Martins, although he spelt that wrong, he said oily.
Yep.
Martin wants to increase the public funding by 15.8%, whilst the government cut funding.
He's the PCC, the Police and Chief Constable. He's the head of the police.
Crime Commissioner
for Hearts.
No,
beds.
Yes.
Okay.
He's supposed to be, the checks and balance man.
Yeah.
Whilst the government cut funding to the police, are we paying for the police twice? The government taxes to fund the police. Why don't the government just increase the income tax and pay up to the police? We could end up paying twice.
There's a little bit of politics there.
Tony, 2 times.
Philip's on the line. Good morning, Philip.
Hello. Good morning. Lovely morning.
Lovely morning, Philip. Lovely morning.
I love the snow. Can you ask your taxi drivers in Milton Keynes to check their lights?
Oh, here we go.
I've gone through, pulled past about 5 or 6 this morning. Half of them don't work. They've got side lights and main beams not working.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be professional drivers, and I've just been past one where it's quite snowing on the way to Leighton Bus. There's no lights at all.
Isn't that it's not the most annoying thing in the world. I can think of a lot worse. But one of the most annoying things in the world, is in the top 3, is when you're driving in front of a car at night time and one headlight doesn't work, so the main beam is on the other headlight.
It's lethal. It looks like a motorbike coming towards you.
It does, doesn't it? It does. And you flash these people, and all they do is give you abuse.
Yeah, they put the old what's-its up, yeah.
Yeah, put the old what's-its up. Philip, thank you for that. I've got to say, another thing that annoys me, and this is illegal, guys. If it's been snowing on your car, you have to wipe the snow from the roof of your car before you drive away. Otherwise, that's illegal, and it will come off in my face.
You're lucky because you're tall.
No,
I mean, up there. I've got to get a broom out.
No, I mean, yeah, well, exactly. Just sweep it off. It's very, very satisfying. It's illegal. I think I'm going to say it's illegal to drive with snow on the roof of your car.
What about on the bonnet?
I think that's probably illegal. You've got to get all
you've got to have your lights clear.
Excess snow removed from the vehicle at all times, please.
Oh, it's snowing again now.
Hey.
So consider that a health and safety warning.
Health and safety warning considered. Switch on your lights. Make sure your lights work. Check your oil, your tyres. A little brake test.
Really? What 4:30 in the morning?
Have a shovel in the boot of your car in case you've got to do a poo in a field or get rid of a body. And nice warm blankie.
You're welcome, guys.
Thanks very much.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, there are long delays from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road after an accident has closed a lane. And Dunstable on the A5 southbound, that's looking very slow from Church Street towards the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne as people are trying to avoid those problems on the M1. On the A1M southbound, the exit slip road at junction 8 for Stevenage is now clear of the broken down van and that's moving fine. But on the A6 southbound, there are queues between the Old Main Road and the A507 in Haynes Church End. In High Wycombe on the A40 Abbey Way flyover, that's looking very busy past the University College at the bottom of Marlow Hill. And on the trains, Chiltern Way have delays reported between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8 o'clock. I'm Simon Oxley. The headlines: cost revealed of policing EDL protest in Luton, arson attack at Buckingham Football Ground, and Hertfordshire-based Tesco facing fresh investigation.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
A protest by the English Defence League in Luton, which attracted only a handful of people, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. The event on New Year's Eve involved 104 officers, most of them drafted in from neighbouring forces. More from Carol Abercrombie.
The far-right group planned the protest in response to an Islamic conference taking place in Luton. The police used public order laws to restrict where they were allowed to gather. A total of 12 EDL supporters were escorted by police to a car park, carrying flags and banners, and there was no trouble. Bedfordshire Police have now revealed the total cost was £23,000.
Around 50 firefighters have tackled a blaze in the centre of Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. Crews were called just after 10 o'clock last night. Local residents were told to keep doors and windows shut. A taxi driver has been robbed at gunpoint in Milton Keynes in the early hours of yesterday morning. He picked up a man and a woman in Greenleys at around 2:15 a.m. and took them to London Road in Loughton. The woman got out and the driver then felt what he believed to be a gun pushed against his neck. He handed over cash and the pair fled on foot. A formal investigation is to be launched into whether Tesco has treated its suppliers unfairly. Hertfordshire-based Tesco says it is already changing the way it works with suppliers and it will cooperate fully. More from James Kelly.
The Groceries Code adjudicator, Christine Taken, says she's launching the inquiry because she has reasonable suspicions that Tesco has broken a code of practice which is meant to ensure that big supermarkets treat their suppliers fairly. She'll examine whether Tesco delayed making payments to companies. She'll also investigate if suppliers were wrongly required to make payments in return for their products being given a better position on the shelves when the items weren't part of a promotion.
A group of MPs has published a highly critical report saying the UK should be doing much more in the fight against Islamic State in Iraq and Syria. The government says the assessment made by the Defence Select Committee is inaccurate. A Bedford councillor has been found guilty of assaulting two teenagers and using threatening words and behaviour. Doug McMurdo, who represents Sharnbrook, was found guilty by magistrates in Milton Keynes last night. Sentencing was postponed until next month, but speaking outside the court, McMurdo's solicitor, Mike Haywood, said he would appeal.
Following the convictions today, notification has been made to the court and to the Crown Prosecution Service of Mr McMurdo's intention to lodge an appeal against conviction in due course.
In sport, 2 goals in the last 5 minutes gave Liverpool a 2-1 win at 10-man Bolton in last night's FA Cup fourth round replay. Liverpool will travel to Crystal Palace in the next round. The weather cold with outbreaks of rain, sleet and snow continuing. Skies will clear later, a maximum temperature 5 degrees Celsius. And you can get the latest news and sport online at bbc.co.uk/3 counties.
Morning, Iain Lee, BBC Three Counties Radio. So we're having a barney about how much money was spent on the EDL with our leftist agenda. We are talking about, how do you get young people to vote? It turns out, Catherine, you get them to have a picture taken with a goat.
Selfies.
Selfies with goats.
You can get anyone to do anything with a selfie, apparently.
Can we
stop the selfies?
Can we ban the word selfie? Can we just ban it? I think it's such a lazy...
Taking photographs of themselves with mobile phones.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much indeed.
Across beds.
Thank you very much indeed.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
So I've been invited to a do with
Nick Clegg.
Nick Clegg.
That's the man.
Of all people. I was invited. I wrote some nonsense on the internet, and a woman got in touch and said, "Oh, this is short notice, but would you like to come to a do with Nick Clegg? When is it? It's tonight." Short notice. I haven't got a suit and I don't really fancy it. But I had a dream that it was just me and 12 other people, including a nice local band. And so I woke up thinking, man, I'm going to go to this thing. I'm totally going to go and hang out with Cleggy.
Mm-hmm.
And then I woke up and thought, actually, there'll probably be loads of people there.
And it's just you that's invited. It's not a +1. So if you don't do the small talks...
I don't do the small talk. Where is it? Is it Westminster? It's like somewhere proper.
Admiralty something.
Is it Admiralty?
Sounds posh.
Hang on, where is it? It's somewhere...
It's not a travel lodge.
No. It's somewhere...
games.
It's somewhere swanky, innit? And it's your money that's paying for it. Thank you, Kels. It is at Whitehall, Admiralty House. Admiralty House.
Posh.
Been invited to Admiralty House.
It's very nice, I've been there once.
Oh, you see.
Nick Clegg invited you.
Did Nick Clegg invite you?
No, he didn't.
He wouldn't invite you, no. Nick Clegg invited me. I'm not going to go, Catherine.
Can I go?
Yeah, why not? You can.
I'll pretend to be you.
Have we got any texts before we crack on?
Yes. Helen in Milton Keynes. All snow must be removed from the vehicle before setting off. I keep a broom with a soft brush for that purpose. I'm 5'2", so it was very difficult but satisfying. You know you've got a caller on this as well.
Yeah. John, well, let's go to John now. Morning,
John's
John.
got beef.
Good morning, young man.
How are you, boss? If you want to hear Gavin, I'll put those headphones on. I think one of those ears might work. John, what would you like to say?
Snow on the top of vehicles.
Yes.
That lady's just texting about she sweeps it off and it has to be removed.
Yep.
How would you attempt to remove it from a 15-foot high, 13-metre trailer?
With ladders and a broom.
Health and safety wouldn't let you do that.
Health and safety, John. What are you, man or mouse?
I'm a pretty sort of butch mouse, really.
Yeah, but
John, you think there's an anti-car agenda here, don't you?
I do, yeah.
Go on.
Well,
making you do stuff because you've got a car.
Yeah, if you can reach it, you can do it, basically. And I think if it is law, it's just one of those silly things they won't get.
No, it's not a silly thing. It takes you 30 seconds. We're talking about wiping the snow off the top of the car. It takes you 30 seconds, and if you don't do it, well, then when you're speeding along the M1, it's going to hit some poor fella in the windscreen at the back. Could cause damage or an accident.
It wouldn't cause any damage, but it would also help if that other chap has failed to fill up his washer bottle and he needs that little bit of extra moisture.
Wow, John, that's a little bit... John, thank you very much indeed. I didn't think people would be so anti getting the snow off the top of your car. Anyway, let's move on, shall we? Bedfordshire Police have spent more than £23,000 on policing an EDL protest in Luton, where only 12 protesters turned up. That's the extra money they would have spent on policing an average day in the town. Well, the protest on New Year's Eve was in response to an Islamic conference that was being staged in the town. Gavin Shuker, Labour MP for Luton South, £23,000, only 12 protesters. What do you think?
Well, it's a pretty depressing state of affairs, isn't it? You end up in a situation where the EDL once again target Luton.
Yep.
They come to protest against, by the way, an Islamic conference that talks about the true meaning of jihad. Jihad in the understanding of these scholars as being not about blowing yourself up, not about waging war, trying to do a really good thing.
Yep.
And you end up with 12 people turning up, idiots standing around in a car park, and we have to pay for it. I think it's unacceptable.
You say it's unacceptable, but it is, as I was saying to a guest earlier on, it's one of the great things about this country that people can protest. As long as it's organised and goes through the official channels, they can protest. And they can protest about pretty much anything they want. And whether we agree with it or not, that's great.
They can protest about pretty much whatever they want. There are a couple of restrictions, though, understandably, in the law. So the first one is obviously if it's going to cause a major public order incident which the police can't themselves contain. So back in 2009, when Alan Johnson was Home Secretary, we had to ban a march coming through Luton, organised with very little notice, where the police felt they couldn't do it. Secondly, though, if you continually target a certain place, there are reasons why you can prevent a protest.
Oh, I didn't know that. OK, so if they're doing a protest in Luton every week, you could say, do you know what, you can have one every couple of months, but that's your lot.
Absolutely, because what we want is the voices of ordinary people to be heard alongside those people that want to target. Now, I vehemently disagree with the ideology of the EDL, and I think that they've shown themselves up to be the idiots that they are by turning 12 people up on New Year's Eve to a car park that costs us 23 grand. However, they do have a right to protest. What they don't have a right to do is to keep on continually targeting Bedfordshire Police in this way.
So what do you suggest is done then? The EDL sent a bill that they're banned from protesting? What do you think?
Well, there's certainly a question about cost reclaiming here. So for each of those 12 individuals that turned up to a protest, by the way, that was cancelled at the last minute by the EDL, these are the people that clearly didn't get the memo. for those people...
So these are the brightest of the brights.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would be a truly entertaining thing to see them get the bill for this particular protest. We're about to potentially have a referendum here in Bedfordshire about 100 additional officers, cost to the taxpayer. Now, one of those could have been paid for by this protest. The £2.3 million we spent on a large EDL protest a couple of years ago would have gone into frontline policing.
But we can't send them a bill simply because not many people turned up or because we don't agree with their ideology, can we?
No, I agree with that. But at the same time, you could organise a protest without the fear of violent confrontation, which is what accompanies these EDL protests, at a much, much lower cost. We have protests coming through Luton all of the time. Why is it we have to put up Fortress Luton when the EDL come to town? Very simply because we know there's a fear of violence.
And I'm aware that we've had a guest on who has accused the BBC of a leftist agenda. I'm
that's obviously true.
I'm trying to counter that.
Especially this show.
They don't come through all the time, do they, the EDL? I mean, when was the march prior to this?
It
was a while ago.
You had something actually was targeting a five-a-side football match in which kids were playing up in Stopsley.
Okay.
The additional costs of that were, I think, around about 200 more officers. It is a joke. We have continual protesting. There may be gaps of months or years in between, but they're not going after, hard targets. They're going after the softest things, and we're continually having to play catch-up. I think it's wrong.
The police did the right thing, though, didn't they, spending this money? Because if they'd have, if 1,000 people had turned up and there were only 12 coppers, we'd all be going, oh, blooming police, aren't they stupid? Why are they not keeping an eye out for us?
Yeah, I think that's right. And I think it puts Bedfordshire Police in a very difficult position. Like all police forces, they're facing major budget cuts. At the moment, they're losing officers. We potentially might take on a few more. But they're having to spend their money not on what people really care about, which is tackling drugs in the town, where there's a major issue, tackling women involved in prostitution, where there's major child sexual exploitation, all of these different issues. We're standing around in a car park watching 12 idiots shouting on a New Year's morning. Now, there are two sides to this. The first side is we've got to get smarter at targeting the efforts of EDL and others that want to come and disrupt the normal life in our town. But secondly, we've got to appeal to these people that are doing it. What are you doing? What have you achieved? The far right will always find its expressions, but I don't want them to find their expression here in this town.
Do we? You say that the march had been cancelled and these people didn't hear, but the fact that there are only 12, do we read something into that the EDL is now running around like a headless chicken and is on its last legs?
Yeah, I mean, my personal view is that the EDL basically peaked when they said they would get 20,000 people to Luton back in 2011, 2012. They managed to get about 5,000. It shut down the town for the day and did major reputational damage. But after that, they've never been able to get the numbers they wanted.
Saying that, though, some of the horrific stories we've had about the so-called Islamic State this week, that's the kind of stuff that fuels this hatred, this misplaced hatred of Muslims and people what look different to us.
Yeah, absolutely right. And, you can't look at what's going on in the Middle East right now and say in any way that it's beneficial to our community cohesion here in the UK. What I would say, though, is that we do have an issue, it's acknowledged, with young British Muslim men very often going over to Syria to fight. They're going over to kill other Muslims. And so an event that comes in and talks about the true meaning of jihad, understood in the age-old religion of Islam, that tries to correct people and pull people around, is something we should encourage, not something we should be protesting against.
Gavin, nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming in. 08459 455 555.
Across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is Iain Lee.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
08459 455 555 is the telephone number if you want to give us a call. So, there's a story here. Dad is given heart from man killed on his bike and wakes up a keen cyclist. Now, when it says wakes up a keen cyclist, it's not he goes up to a cyclist who's having a snooze under a tree and goes, "Oh, hey, wake up." When he wakes up from the operation, he becomes a keen cyclist. A father whose life was saved by a heart transplanted from a keen cyclist awoke to find he had a passion for the sport too. Kevin Mashford, it's all got mash up, 38, was given weeks to live as he battled a congenital heart condition. However, after his successful operation, doctors told Mr. Mashford his new heart came from a man named John, an avid cyclist who was killed in a collision with a car out riding. 7 days after his 13-hour operation, he asked physiotherapists to bring an exercise bike into his room and cycled 7 minutes every day for a week. And despite never having cycled before, he took to the saddle as soon as he left hospital and is now regularly clocking up the miles. Now, this bit's weird. With John's name etched inside his helmet. His helmet. His helmet. His helmet. That bit's a bit spooky. It's like that documentary I saw about a fella who had his arm, his right hand chopped off, and he had another hand chopped off, but it was the hand of a killer. And he went around killing people, and then he tried to kill himself. It was like grabbing his own throat and tried to kill himself. Did anyone else see that? Did you see that documentary, Catherine?
What about what?
The fella that had his arm chopped off, and he had it replaced by the arm that belongs to a killer.
No.
And he went around killing people, and then he tried to kill. Oh, and then he tried to kill himself, and he was doing all that.
It was a documentary starring.
I don't know the name of the fella that was.
Peter Cushing?
No, it's just. I mean,
sounds like a great film.
It was it happens in real life. The fella with the cyclist's heart now likes to ride bikes.
Yeah.
And the fella with the murderer's hand went around killing people.
A friend of mine's got a bit of pig in his heart. Explains a lot of the behaviours.
Was there a bit of pig in his heart?
Yeah, he had a valve replaced. They put a bit of piggy in there.
That is out of order.
It works. Well, it's fine. He's still alive.
Are they allowed to do that? Because that is disgusting.
That's what they do.
That is absolutely disgusting.
Why is it disgusting?
The NHS is on its knees if they are secretly stealing bits from pigs and putting them in men's hearts.
I don't think it was a secret.
Well, I didn't know about it
Well,
till just now.
He likes pigs now.
Did the pig know about it? That's the question on everyone's piggy lips.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, all the lanes are back open again between junction 11 for Luton and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road, but there are still long delays from junction 12 for Flitwick. Also, the A5 southbound still very busy from Church Street down towards the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne. On the M25 anti-clockwise, there are delays between junction 24 for Potters Bar and 23 for the A1M because of the usual rush hour traffic. And in Cheshunt on the A10 southbound, that's looking very slow from the New River Trading Estate down to the M25 as well. In Haynes Church End on the A6 southbound, there are queues building up between the Old Main Road and the A507, and on the trains Chiltern Railway are reporting that there may be some delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. 8:16. It's Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A protest by the EDL in Luton, which attracted only 12 people on New Year's Eve, cost Bedfordshire more than £20,000 to police. 50 firefighters tackled a blaze in Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. And a formal investigation is to be launched into whether Hertfordshire-based Tesco has treated its suppliers unfairly.
Three Counties Radio.
Look at you, Noel Coward, stroke Errol Flynn, stroke David Niven.
Oh.
Yeah, stroke Anthony Newley.
Well, thanks very much.
Very dashing, a nice jacket. You couldn't wear that on TV, that would strobe. Just to flag that up.
Right, OK.
Beautiful shirt, lovely scarf, and I gotta say, very dashing attitude.
Oh.
Yeah.
Why have you got a scarf on?
Because I'm cold.
Oh, are you?
But I like it.
Now you feel cold. Now
I like
you feel
it.
the cold.
Yeah, I like it, though.
Right.
I like it like that.
Shall we try and find the radiator again? I don't know where the radiator's gone. The one where the wheels fell off it.
I bet it's under Jan's desk.
Do you think?
Yeah, I bet Jan's got the warmest legs in show business.
I'm going to go and have a rummage under her desk.
Well, be careful. Do it delicately. What's on your show this morning?
Coming up on the Big Phone in this morning, I'm sensing you might have an opinion on this today. Yeah. And I'm also sensing I think I know what it will be. Huh? Do you think it's too risky to have a dog if you've got small children? The number of dog attacks reported to the police in Beds, Herts and Bucks has risen by 5% each year for the last 3 years. The increase is due in part to changes in the law which criminalises owners who allow their dogs to attack people in their own home. Last year, around 500 people had to stay overnight in local hospitals after being bitten by dogs, and many of the cases reported to the police are young children who've been bitten by the family pet.
Yep.
Well, from 9 this morning, I want your reaction to this. Do you think it's too risky to have a dog if you've got small children? You know that I have got a puppy. She's now 6.5 months old.
Yep.
I have no idea how anybody would be able to combine a 6.5-month-old puppy and small children. I don't know how you could do it.
How old are the children?
I don't know.
3?
Your children's age?
3, yes, I would. I would get a small dog, and I'm trying to find...
small dog. My friend...
I'd get a dog like that.
My friend Doug had a Jack Russell.
A Bichon Bolognese.
And Jack Russells...
Oh, they're horrible little dogs.
They can attack children.
Oh, they're just rats. They're just rats, aren't they?
You've got to look at their teeth. Don't be taken in by the hair. Look at them, because I remember Mick Martins having a look at a dog a friend of mine was getting. He said, not any children. It was a Chinese crested powder puff. So it looked
Chinese
like
powder puffs.
It looked like a sort of cutesy-wootsy dog. What? The teeth on it were enormous.
Yeah.
But all these people who say, oh, I never leave the dog in the same room as the children. Yeah. Well, as far as I'm concerned, and I do now have a dog, so I kind of know, surely then you would have to leave your dog, your puppy, in a crate all the time. Because when you're busy at home, when you're cooking the dinner, when you're, popping to take the washing upstairs to put it away in the drawers, what are you going to do with the dog and the children? Are you going to honestly manage to keep them apart all the time? I just don't believe people who say keep children and the dog apart.
Surely that's as well a way to breed resentment between the two.
I wouldn't get...
thinking, why are you...
And what a life for the dog. I mean, if the dog spends its whole life being shut out somewhere, either shut out in the kitchen away from the family or shut in a crate, I mean, what's the point of having the dog?
Yeah, well... It's certainly going to provoke debate this morning.
From 9 this morning, I'd like your reaction. Do you think it's too risky to have a dog if you've got small children? I'd like your stories, your experiences on 08459 455 555 from 9.
Every weekday from 3.
Let's talk about your story. They're little globules of it's chocolate. What is that sticking out of that?
That's the abdomen of the ant.
Roberto Perroni.
Film critic Richard Fitzwilliams, welcome to the programme. Richard, will you be watching Rambo 5?
They are unsubtle, they are silly, and they do not appeal.
Overweight people are being ignored, humiliated and insulted on a regular basis.
When you're in the supermarkets, people watching what you're picking up and passing comments.
Can I ask you, Claudette, what does it cost to have a cycle of IVF when you decide, well, I have to have children?
It all totaled to nearly £25,000. When you're in such a low and desperate place, you'll do anything.
Roberto Perroni on BBC Three Counties Radio.
Now, it's an important year to ensure that you're registered to vote, because there's a general election happening in May. But changes to the voter registration system could mean that thousands of people miss out. Today is National Voter Registration Day, which targets anyone who isn't on the voting register, including around 250,000 young people. One university in the eastern region is running a Goats for Votes. Explain Goats for Votes to me, Catherine.
You're allowed to touch the goat and have your picture taken with it if you register to vote.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I couldn't find a stoat.
No. Or a moat. But we can talk to Tony Pearce, who's president of the National Union of Students. Morning, Tony.
Morning.
Why can't more students be bothered to register to vote?
I think the really important thing here is that we recognise that there's been a massive... And this isn't just students, it's everybody.
Tony, it sounds like I don't know if you're moving. It sounds like you're underwater a little bit. If you, I don't know what's going on. Just try it again.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not moving.
Okay.
We used to have a system where the head of the household could register you to vote, and if you were a student, that meant that your university could register you to vote in your halls. And what's happened now is that individual students need to register to vote, and I think the main thing is that students just aren't aware that that's happened. And so what we're doing throughout this week, and particularly today on National Voter Registration Day, is lots of activities to get students aware that they need to register to vote, and to talking about how important it is that they have their voice heard at the general election.
It surprises me because universities usually have got such strong political groups, and I, remember when I went to university was surprised at the number of politically active and thoughtful people that were there. Surely students would have found out that they've got to register to vote.
So I think that's exactly what we're doing at the moment, is making sure that they do know that. So, for instance, this week, just at Huddersfield University, 1,000 people have been registered to vote. I heard you talking then about what's happening at the University of East Anglia, where they've got some really interesting ideas about engaging students in registering to vote.
But the thing is, what worries me about this Goats for Votes thing is it just sounds dumb. It just sounds dumb. These are intelligent young people. Why do they need a gimmick to do something like this? Why don't you just go, hey guys, you need to register to vote, otherwise you're not going to have a say? I don't get why you need to involve tomfoolery.
I think part of it is that, the fact that they are doing something that's a bit gimmicky and a bit fun means that it's on your radio show today. And I think that's, those things are important, making sure that they're getting publicity and making sure that students, when they turn up on campus in the morning, see it and hear about it, rather than it just being another activity. Because you're right, student unions and students are really political, but partly that means that there's lots happening all the time. And what we need to say is that, something has changed this year. The whole system in terms of how you register to vote has changed, and you won't have been registered to vote in the way that you might think that you used to be. So it's really important that young people know and students know that they're more likely to have dropped off the register than anybody else because they are more likely to have moved house in the last year.
Part of the problem, I would imagine, is that young people feel that they're not being addressed by politicians.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that there's a huge problem in the political system about, the number of political parties that are coming out and talking about things that young people want and things that students and young people care about. But the reality is that, we need to recognise that if you're over 65, you're much more likely to vote, but you're also much more likely to get policy that's made that you would be interested in. And it's kind of a vicious cycle, I guess, isn't it? That, if you're a young person and you don't register to vote, then policymakers are less likely to make policy for you because they don't think that, you're going to turn out to vote on the day. So actually, if you're registered to vote and you put pressure on politicians to give you something to vote for, hopefully that can make a real difference. And that's absolutely what we're trying to do at the National Union of Students this year.
Well, Tony, I wish you the very best of luck with it. Tony Pearce, President of the National Union of Students. Tom's in Watford. Morning, Tom.
Morning.
What would you like to say, Tom?
Just about the EDL bill and the chap you had on from the Labour Party.
Oh, Gavin Shuker, yep.
Yeah, so I was listening to what he said, and I think he's part of the problem that we have in society, where we have groups of people on the end of the coin. And we have people that feel that they have to protest, etc. when we get these bills. Because he sits there and says, and brandishes people as idiots and talks about in that kind of way when he's in a position of power. Now, I don't agree with the EDL. I don't agree with what they stand for. I don't agree with how they go about it. But I think if we keep brandishing them as certain things rather than trying to educate them, talk to them and work out, so rather than having these debates, they can support things where he said that the event they were trying to demonstrate against was trying to talk about what jihad actually means to people and what Muslims and what Islam actually means to their community, rather than just people trying to organise hatred, then it would solve the problem. I don't think him sitting there and saying, oh, they're idiots, let's send them a bill is going to help.
Well, I don't think calling them idiots is going to make the situation any worse, though, is it? And do you know what? I was surprised that Gavin Shuker called them idiots. It shocked me. And the reason why is because we're so used to politicians being bland and namby-pamby and sitting on the fence and not expressing an opinion. Now, I knew he was coming in and he's from Labour. He's not going to be a massive fan of the EDL, of course. But I kind of... my politics to one side, I kind of respected Gavin for saying something like that, for not coming in with a press release, not coming in with a memo from higher up and saying what he actually thought. Do you not respect him for that, Tom?
I do to an extent. I respect anybody that has an opinion on something rather than, like you say, reading something online or reading something. I do respect him for that to an extent. I don't think people... I think he maybe needs to think about the situation more and go about it in a different way. I think the choice of language he used wasn't the best.
Tom, listen, I'm going to let you go because the line is not great. I hope you feel you got your point across. There's the last 30 minutes of the show, dear listener. Was Gavin Shuker, Labour MP, right to call the EDL idiots? It genuinely surprised me because I like Gavin. He always comes in. If we've ever got a story, he's always willing to come in. Don't always agree with what he says. And I was surprised that he used that word.
Well, he's usually very mild-mannered, isn't he?
Yeah. And I just think we're always...
Do you think MPs should swear more?
Oh, I'd love it if MPs swore. I would love it. That would get young people interested in voting. If David Cameron came out the Prime Minister's Question Time next week and got a stupid question from Ed Miliband and went, "Oh, why don't you just have some of that?"
Because people are always complaining.
He'd get the vote.
People are always complaining about spin, aren't they? And how we're being fed slick lines all the time.
Yeah,
well, actually, how about someone speaking from the heart now and again?
If Clegg stands up and says, "You know what, David Cameron, we've been working together the last years, and I think you are a massive," wouldn't you just think, well, fair play?
To be honest, it's very playground in that House of Commons anyway, isn't it? But I mean, Boris Johnson did it last week, didn't he?
Boris Johnson did it. I do think that I thought we were tired of politicians that came in with their little press releases and went, well, as a member of the Labour Party, we are not keen on the EDL, but it's everyone's right to He comes in and says they're a bunch of idiots and we should bill them. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it. I respect him for saying it.
You appreciated him using his own words?
I appreciated his honesty. 08459 455 555. And let's try, this is tricky, isn't it? Let's try and put the politics out of it. Gavin is obviously Labour. It could be argued the EDL of the far right, and maybe you support one or the other or you hate, but let's try and put that to one side. The choice of language, Gavin Shuker calling the EDL a group of idiots. Was he right to do that, or was that a little bit unnecessary? 08459 455 555.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are long queues on the M1 southbound still from junction 12 for Flitwick to junction 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road after the accident earlier on closed a lane, but it's not closed anymore. It's open again now. It's still looking
She's closed now!
No, she's open!
She's open again for business!
Southbound has queues between Church Street and the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne because of these problems on the M1. And on the M1 southbound between the London Gateway services and junction 1 for Staples Corner, that's very busy because of the problems on the North Circular Road at Neasden earlier. On the M40 towards London, it's looking very slow from junction 2 for Beaconsfield to 1A for the M25. And looking at the cameras, it's very snowy, so possibly that's because of reduced visibility and the road surfaces being very wet. On the A1 Great North Road, there are queues that are coming from the Kimbolton turn off to the Black Cat roundabout through the roadworks. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Across beds, hearts and bugs.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's 8:30. I'm Simon Oxley. A Luton MP has called on the English Defence League to stop targeting the town after it was revealed that a protest which attracted only 12 people cost Bedfordshire Police £23,000. The event on New Year's Eve involved 104 officers, most of them drafted in from neighbouring forces. More than 500 dog owners in the three counties have been prosecuted over the past year under the Dangerous Dogs Act. Research by the BBC shows it's the highest figure in half a decade, and more people are being admitted to hospital after being bitten. And around 50 firefighters have tackled a blaze in the centre of Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. Crews were called just after 10 o'clock last night.
Three Counties Sports.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
2 goals in the last 5 minutes gave Liverpool a 2-1 win at 10-man Bolton in last night's FA Cup fourth round replay. Liverpool will travel to Crystal Palace in the next round. Bolton were leading 1-0 when Neil Downs was sent off, but manager Neil Lennon decided to criticise the referee rather than his own player for needlessly collecting a second yellow card.
Could comfortably have been 2-0 up, and the sending off changed the game. I thought the referee was really poor tonight, not happy with his performance at all. The second tackle is a yellow card, but the first one's not. Not convinced ours was a penalty either, but it looked like there was a little bit of contact. And I think he spoiled the game. Certainly spoiled it from our point of view anyway.
And Bolton's exit means they will host Watford in the Championship a week on Saturday, February the 14th. Watford striker Odion Ighalo has been shortlisted for the Championship Player of the Month award for January after he scored 7 goals last month. Louis van Gaal has been charged by the FA. It's over comments he made to the media after Manchester United's goalless cup draw at Cambridge. And Formula One world champion Lewis Hamilton has described his first week of pre-season testing as pretty special after his Mercedes team dominated in terms of laps completed in Spain. However, the media were warned not to question the Stevenage driver about his latest breakup with on-off celebrity girlfriend Nicole Scherzinger. BBC Three Counties News and Sport. The next full bulletin is at 9.
Call 08459 455 555.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Stuart's in Bedford. Morning, Stuart.
Good morning, Ian.
What have you got for us, boss?
Well, you're talking about getting young people to vote.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch Prime Minister's Question Times on a Wednesday lunchtime,
yeah,
why would people want to vote? It's honestly, it's a farce. I mean, the way Cameron is asked a question by Miliband, but you never get an answer.
No, I know. No one answers any of the questions. I was listening to this yesterday, and Ed Miliband was asking a question about... it was a really boring question, and there were other things he perhaps should have focused on, but he was asking about hedge funds not paying tax, and it costs the country something like £150 million a year. And David Cameron wouldn't answer it. He said, so, right, Mr Prime Minister, when are you going to change... Why don't hedge funds have to pay tax? It costs us £140 million a year. You're talking about hedge funds? Well, last night on television, Ed Balls couldn't remember the name of somebody. That was his actual answer.
And you know, the questions that come from the benches are all pre-decided. They get a list. They can choose.
All David Cameron could bang on about was the fact that Ed Balls had looked like a proper plum on Newsnight because he was it's a brilliant clip. Ed Balls is being questioned. What do you think about the fact that more business leaders are backing the Tories than you? And Ed Balls goes, no. Loads of business leaders are backing Labour as well. I've just been at a do with loads of them. Oh yeah, who was there? There was Bill somebody. That was his answer. Yeah. Did you hear that, Stuart?
Yes, I did. Bill Thomas it was.
It was, yeah. You went, there was Bill somebody.
Yeah, that's right. But like you say, all the questions that are asked the Prime Minister from the benches, they've all been given to the questionnaires. Yeah. So Cameron then has the answers to answer them. He can't answer them straight.
Well, but in fairness, Stuart, and sitting slightly on the fence, what with an election coming up, no one does. No one answers any of the questions that they are asked, be it in Prime Minister's Question Time or be it in an interview. Everybody sits and fudges.
Well, I mean, but Cameron has made so many pledges over while he's been in power.
Yes.
I mean, he'll be out doing Pinocchio before long.
OK, now listen, while you're here, I just want to get... I don't know if you heard, we had Gavin Shuker, the Labour MP for Luton South, in earlier. He described the EDL as idiots.
That's the wrong word, but very, very close to the...
Was he right to say something like that? I'm guessing, Stuart. I don't know. I'm getting a few psychic clues that maybe you lean a little bit to the left. So try and put your politics to one side.
Gavin Shuker speaks from the heart.
OK, Stuart, OK, thank you. I'm getting a little bit of political bias there. Was he right, dear listener, talking to you now, to call the EDL idiots? I suspect a Tory politician would do the same as well. I don't know. 08459 455 555. We got any texts?
We've got texts. I've also put that on Twitter.
OK, yes, I saw that. Well done.
Well, I mean, that's the question, isn't it, really? Should they be using... should they be insulting?
What's the @ sign called? It's not an ampersand, that's the and.
@ mention.
Sorry?
Do you mean on Twitter, @ mention?
No.
I know what it's called in Spanish, but I don't know what it's called.
What's it in Spanish?
Arroba.
Arroba. So what's it called in English? What are you doing in my studio?
Isn't it just called
I'm just stretching.
Well, what?
I don't need to show you some love. I want to show you some love.
I don't want to see his love.
Peter in Wilmer Green says, if you need a goat, God help democracy.
Hi, Peter.
OK, thank you,
I think
Peter.
he's talking about the goats for votes.
If you need a Matt Lockwood to fill 5 minutes of radio, then God help the broadcasting, but that's what we need, Matt.
Tony says, why goats for votes? Why not stoats for votes? What have the stoats done wrong?
Why not boats for goats? Give every goat a boat.
Votes for groats. That's payment for your. That's illegal.
That's illegal. We won't do that. Matt, what are you doing?
I've come in to say hello.
OK. Well, is there any other reason?
He's been talking to people on the streets and wants to tell you what they said.
Oh, thank you, Matt. OK. Initiative. This is what we like. This is what we like, young man.
We need some light relief from all the politics from the EDL. Let's just have some fun for a couple of minutes. The key question of the day, who would win in a fight, Batman or Superman? And I put that to the streets. I took it out there. It's snowing down. You know, it was cold out there, but I did this for you. I just wanted to make you laugh. Make the listener laugh.
I'll be the judge.
Show you some love.
I'll be the judge as to whether this makes me laugh.
Yeah.
You watch my face for the next 1 minute 55 and we'll see.
So you won't laugh now. Reverse psychology. Who would win in a fight? Batman or Superman?
Well, personally, I prefer Batman, but as a character, but Superman definitely has more abilities. Batman can't shoot lasers out of his eyes, for example.
But Superman wears like a stupid costume, doesn't he? Like that blue spandex. It's ridiculous. You can't have a man in blue spandex, can you?
Well, like I said, I prefer Batman, but in a fight, if you compare the stats, Batman has absolutely no superpowers. He's just a very good fighter.
If there was a fight between Batman and Superman, who would come out on top?
I'm not sure because I'm a fan of Iron Man.
You what?
I'm the fan, supporter of Iron Man.
Oh, you like Iron Man?
Yeah.
All right, so you're not keen on Batman or Robin?
No.
Why do you like Iron Man?
I don't know. I'm not interested in graphic novel stuff like that.
So if it was Iron Man who was having a fight with Batman, who would win?
Batman.
Right, and if it was Iron Man versus Superman, who would win?
I haven't got idea. Okay, mate, I must go.
If there was a fight between Batman or Superman, who would come out on top?
Superman.
Why Superman?
Because Batman doesn't have any power with him. Superman has a power and he's from another planet, yeah? I like the costume and I don't like the costume of Batman.
Why not?
I don't like bats.
What you got against bats?
Yeah, I don't like bats.
What you got against bats?
It's weird.
What you got against bats?
Huh?
What you got against bats?
No comments. No comments.
What you got against bats?
Huh?
What you got against bats? What you got against bats?
What to say? It's the most weird thing flying object I have ever seen.
What you got against bats?
You want me to explain it?
Yeah.
Because they can see.
That could have gone on and on and on.
Because they can't see. So that means, but if you follow that man's logic, he hates the blind.
Doesn't like Stevie Wonder.
No, he doesn't at all. I mean, I do think he's a little overrated. But
I love Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, a couple of good albums.
Well, there you go. Bit of light relief.
Sorry?
I think he was right, though, and that, of course, is the correct answer, because obviously Batman's all about the suit and the tools.
Yeah.
Superman could do it dressed in his suit, but he just doesn't.
Superman and Batman, they have a fight in the new film. There's a new film coming up.
Is it bad Batman, bad Superman?
What do you mean?
Well, sometimes they go bad, don't they?
They do go a little bit bad sometimes. They go bent, don't they?
Yeah.
You get bent Superman and bent Batman.
And his hair, Superman's hair, you can tell because Superman's hair is a bit ruffled.
Yeah.
It's a bit sexier to me.
He does. He's very naughty.
Doesn't
Superman.
shave.
And I like Batman's stupid voice. Doesn't he? He has a silly voice.
I look forward to hearing it.
No, I can't really do it now. Wait a minute. Oh, this is... Oh, no.
do Batman in the cave.
I'm gonna destroy No, I can't do the voice now. Oh, why did I even mention it? No.
I'm gonna destroy Superman.
No, it's worse than that.
I'm gonna save Gotham City.
It's worse than that, though. It's kind of more... It's like that, but it's more distorted.
Go on, then.
So you do yours again.
I'm gonna destroy the Joker and save Gotham City.
I'm gonna destroy it. No, I can't do it.
I only remember the voice he did when he went, "Hey, get out of my shot, you flipping thing."
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He went bats.
Yeah, that was bad Batman.
Bad Batman. Well, Matt, thank you so much for that.
It's all right. Right, I'll leave you now. Do you feel a bit better?
No, I feel, if anything, even more spiritually empty. But thank you so much.
Right. You know the at sign?
Yes.
We know what it is in Spanish.
Yes.
We now know what it is in Dutch. Someone's texted in. Matt says that squiggly sign in Dutch is the Abstaartje, which means monkey's tail.
Okay, but what is it called in English?
Don't know.
Isn't it just called at?
No, it's got a name.
At?
Before Twitter, why do we ever use hash?
What's an epsilon? There's a thing called that, isn't there?
There's an ypsilon.
Ypsilon, what's that?
That's foreign, isn't it?
Yeah.
08459 455.
I know what circumflex is. It's a little pointy
arrow.
Okay,
little triangle.
Yeah. It means that there was an S there and it's been taken out. Seriously.
08459 455 555.
You know, like in arrête in French?
I don't, mate.
Right. If you put the S in, it's arrest. Which is where we get it from. Fact.
Okay, well, that's certainly something to look forward to. Hey, this is going to be... Where's the Telegraph?
Tell me.
This is good.
Tell me some stuff.
This is good news at last. Who's that on the phone? They're half loud.
Really loud, aren't they? It's probably my mum. I can hear her across the room.
Oh, no, it's not in the Telegraph. Is it in the Telegraph or is it it's in the Sun, I think?
I mean, that is loud. That sounds like one of those comedy phone calls where they're furious.
So, I had another wee in a car park yesterday.
Stop it.
I was desperate.
I think it's becoming a thing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a thing.
Are you marking territory? Is that so people don't nick your car?
Now, this is good. Right.
Go.
GPS system.
Yeah.
GPS system. Oh, hang on a minute. That's like saying PIN number. The S is the system.
Mm-hmm.
The N is the number.
Is it not software? Global positioning software?
I thought it was global positioning system.
Don't know. It's two things.
GPS system. You see where this is going? This is flipping genius. Well done, Jake Ruston. He's 21. He's from Rotherham. I want to go and shake his hand. After he's washed it, an app listing 100,000 public toilets worldwide, that's a little bit, has been launched by Jake Ruston, 21, of Rotherham.
Oh, GPS.
Yeah, that's what I was doing.
Oh, right, I get it.
GP. G-wee-wee.
What does the S stand for?
Well, I think it's system. It could be software. It's not that, mate.
Oh.
08459 455 555. This is the kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that we should be doing more of. Having little. Well, we only need to do it once. Having apps that download and tell you where the toilets are, or where there's a bush, or an alleyway, or a wall.
Classy stuff.
Classy stuff indeed. If you want to take part in the show, give us a call. 08459 455 555 81333. Start your text 3CR.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
On the M1 southbound, it's very busy from junction 12 for Flitwick to 10 for the M1 Luton Airport Spur Road after the accident earlier closed a lane, but it's all open again now. And on the A5 southbound between Church Street and the M1 junction 9 for Redbourne, that's very slow for people avoiding the queues on the M1. On the A1M southbound, looking at the speed sensors, and there are queues between junction 2 for Welham Green and 1 for the M25. And on the M25 anti-clockwise, that's looking very busy still between junction 17 for Maple Cross and 15 for the M4. Checking the speed sensors in High Wycombe, and the A40 Abbey Way flyover is very slow past the University College. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway are reporting possible delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions. They're expected to be in place all day. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Samantha. Ain't this game over yet? 8:45. It's Thursday, the 5th of February. I'm Iain Lee. These are your headlines on BBC Three Counties Radio. A Luton MP has called on the English Defence League to stop targeting the town after it was revealed that a protest, which attracted only 12 people, cost Bedfordshire Police £23,000. More than 500 dog owners in the three counties have been prosecuted over the past year under the Dangerous Dogs Act. And 50 firefighters tackled a blaze in Buckingham overnight after an arson attack at the former Buckingham Town football ground in Ford Street. Give us a call and we'll speak to you after we get a bit of weather with Kate.
Beds, hearts and bucks weather.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
It's Alina, but I'll take Kate, no worries, Ian. It's a cold day today, some wintry showers around. We've already had some snow across much of the county. Not a lot of it settling, and it will start to be easing away in the next hour or so. Behind it, some showers, so there could well be further flurries of snow through the day, but also some spells of sunshine this afternoon. A high of 5 Celsius, which is 41 degrees Fahrenheit. A couple of snow flurries around overnight, but for much of the night it's dry, good clear spells. That will allow temperatures to drop down to -1 or -2 Celsius, so a frost for many, some ice reforming on untreated surfaces. For tomorrow, much brighter day, good spells of sunshine, but tempered by a strong and gusty northeasterly wind. It will make it feel bitterly cold, even though the thermometer will read 4 or 5 Celsius again. Less cold at the weekend, but quite a lot of cloud around. Mainly dry, but we can't rule out 1 or 2 showers on Saturday.
Thank you, Alina.
BBC Sport.
Huge game for both countries.
You can't help but love it. It rings in your ears.
Wonderful atmosphere. The anthems were rousing.
The Six Nations, the friendliest of rivalries. Until...
Blood and thunder, the home team. Absolutely giving him both barrels. Oh, he's tackled after he kicked the ball. A surge to the line. The fly half beating 2 defenders on the line.
Rugby's greatest championship, the Six Nations, starts tomorrow night with Wales versus England from 8:05 across the BBC.
Dave is on the line. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, boss.
Oh, it's you. Because it didn't say Dave Luton. I assumed we were getting a decent call. Never mind. OK, we've not got much left, so you can talk. Yes, boss.
No, OK. Thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. I tell you what I don't like, Dave.
No,
excuse me.
No.
I've just remembered something. I remember two things. First of all, we're staying in a hotel last night. There was a mirror opposite the toilet. As I was having a wee, I did a little stretch, and this is true. And I looked at myself, and I said this out loud, Dave. I went, "Oh, I'm looking quite buff." I was looking quite buff, and that's because I get bullied by a Hungarian woman once a week. You should try it. Second thing is, I tell you what I don't like, and I don't understand this. You know if something's extraordinary?
Yes.
Why do some people say extraordinary? Because that makes it sound really boring. Why don't they say... Because I know it's spelled extraordinary, and I found out the hard way.
And that's what it means.
What?
And that's what it means, out of the ordinary.
No. But extraordinary means even... Kelly knows what I mean. It means even more ordinary than usual. Doesn't it?
No, extra... No.
No?
Yeah,
if it's extra special, it's even more special.
Yeah. If it's extra cold...
It's even more cold. So if it's extraordinary, what does it mean, Dave?
I don't know.
Okay, let's do it again. If it's extra special, it means it's more special.
Yeah. Special.
Kelly?
If it's extra cold, it means it's more cold.
So, what does extraordinary mean?
I've got no idea.
Do you know what always confuses me? Right,
Dave.
you know that song, It's Not Unusual? Does that mean it's usual, then?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is saying that.
Yeah, he's saying it's usual, yeah.
It's usual.
Well done, Kath.
No, it's not well done, that's what he's saying.
Yeah.
It's usual. It's usual to fall in love with anyone. It's usual to be loved by anyone. But if I find... Then he does a but.
Yeah,
if you turn to such a cry... It's usual to find out I'm in love with you. Whoa.
It's not unusual to see me cry.
Yeah.
I don't want to go out with that guy.
Excuse me, can I get a word in here?
Extraordinary. No, it's extraordinary. Oh my gosh, that was extraordinary. But if it was extraordinary, it's boring.
Excuse me, that applies to you because you're always talking about weeing. Weeing with that mirror. Weeing in the car park. Hello? Hello? Oh, here we go again. Matt, please come on. Dennis. Ken, please come on. What's that, water?
Try Chris.
Hi.
What?
Hello.
Hello? Is that Chris?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm really trying to ring him, talk to him about his weeing.
Excuse me, well, I'm also ringing in about the EDL and the perception of Luton because of the media, and he's just done a foolie on you and passed you through to me because you're on about weeing.
Yeah, I know, my love. This is the way he always operates. He's extraordinary.
All right, then, you and I will have a conversation. Do you think the media are to blame for the perception of Luton being mostly Asian and radicals because of the march we had with the soldiers going through Luton when we had those idiots that started protesting against it, and the media only showed the white people that were shouting at them. They didn't show all the Luton Muslims that were also having a go at them for having a go at the soldiers. So the perception was that Luton is radical, and it isn't. There was a lot of decent Muslim people that did not like those idiots that were shouting at the soldiers, shouting at them, did they?
No, they did. You're quite right, my love.
Luton is not a totally Asian community, right?
No.
You know that if you come from Luton, right? And the Muslims we have are very nice people, the majority of them. Obviously, there are some Pratts, but you get Pratts in every lot. You get English Pratts, you get Lutonian Pratts, you get people that work on the radio that can be Pratts by putting people onto other people.
That's right, my love. Yeah, you've said right exact words there.
Yeah.
So where we got to... No, I don't agree with all this marching and all this... Oh.
What the... Chris, what's going on with your phone?
Well, yeah, I was wondering if...
Have you got your radio on?
I just put it on because I wanted to know if you played music or something.
No, not at all. Listen, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, that wasn't Dennis. That was Dave.
Oh, sorry, Dave.
Go on, listen. So, Dave is a plum, and you had a sensible point you wanted to make. Go on.
Right, I I just think that the media is unfair to Luton in the sense that it does make it look like it's a Muslim radical town when it isn't. When those soldiers marched through Luton and we had those 5 protesters, I think it was 5, that were shouting death threats to the soldiers and kill their families and everything, they only scanned the crowd where it was white people that were having a go at the protesters.
Right.
They didn't show all the Muslims that were well angry and really angry that they were slating the soldiers, because it is a more liberalised Luton with the Muslim people. They are decent, they are hard-working, a lot of them, and I feel sorry that the perception was made on those 5 because the media didn't pan out to show all
that was a while ago, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah,
I
it was.
Trying to place it because I don't think I was here then, and I know what you mean. I suppose the thing is, 5 idiots shouting abuse like that is the story, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean, and I really try, and we don't always get it right on this show, but I try and balance it a little bit more. At least I like to think I do. I don't know if you agree that we do or not. I don't know.
The thing is, Gavin Shankar this morning's calling the EDL idiots. That's just for vote winning. I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. I think he's quite an ineffectual person.
Okay, right? but why do you? But why? Because him calling them idiots. Well, we've already had a phone call that said he was out of order for saying that.
Yeah, but you see, by the same token, I think these people that are extreme, and the EDL is extreme, and the extremists we had the day the soldiers marched through, should be put in a gladiatorial ring and allowed to fight it out amongst themselves instead of trying to draw all people.
Hang on a minute. You called Gavin Shankar, you called Gavin Shankar, the Labour MP, as just trying to win votes because he called the EDL idiots. You want to put him in a ring and have a big punch-up.
Yeah, but also with the opposition, which are the radicals, right? What I'm saying is rather than make the police go do these whatever, let's have a good show of it in the football ground, the stadium, turn it into a gladiatorial ring, and let just the people that feel they want to make other people do their bidding, i.e. the extremists.
No, but hang on, Chris.
Fight it out.
But do you not see? Because we all want people to do our bidding, even the weedy liberals and your bidding is you want them to have a fight.
But not by making other people use violence. If they want violence to be the answer, let them belt each other out.
I don't think the majority of them want violence. They just want hatred. They're just very angry.
Yeah, and
people,
hatred
but on both
leads to
sides.
Violence.
Yeah, well, maybe. Chris?
So, I think that personally, we should back the police more, and then they wouldn't need to call them in. If they could rely on the public to behave instead of joining in when all this gets overtaken, right, then they wouldn't need too many. If people could turn their back and walk away from violence instead of being drawn in like magnets to it...
Turn the other cheek instead of being a violent magnet.
Yeah.
Chris, thank you very much indeed.
Do you want some stats?
Yeah.
Now, this is the racial structure according to the 2011 census.
Of Luton.
Of Luton.
Okay,
right, okay.
Yes,
so white population, 54.6%.
Welcome.
Asian population, 30%.
Good day to you.
Black population, 9.8%.
Congratulations.
Mixed, 4.1%. And
well done.
Other, 1.5%.
Other? Was that like Chinese?
I guess it's Chinese, Latino.
Well, no, Chinese would come under... was there Asia? Was there an Asian category?
Yes.
So Chinese would come under the Asians.
Would it?
Oh, it's such a...
Anyway.
Yes.
So, if the perception is that there are more Asians than anyone else in Luton, it's quite clearly false.
We got time if you want to put someone through? No, we put...
hang on.
Unless it's someone we don't want to talk to, and you're being polite.
In which case, you let the cat out of the bag.
We've given away our secret technique. Abdul!
Good morning, Mr. Lee.
Good morning, Abdul. What you got for us? You got a minute?
Yes, I was going to very quickly say that the only reason that Gavin Shankar has come along and called them idiots this morning is because he relies as a Labour candidate so heavily on the Muslim vote, and therefore he's got to sort of call them idiots in that term and make sure that everybody who's a Muslim understands him for saying that.
Could it not be? And that's interesting. I hadn't considered that. That's interesting.
Sorry, and if I could just carry on because I know we're really short on time.
Well, no. Hang on a second.
Yeah, go on.
Could it not be that he genuinely thinks they're idiots?
I very much doubt it, because I haven't heard Gavin Shuker say things like that before in the past 5 years when he's been an MP. And also this year, he's got added competition because both UKIP have a Muslim candidate standing. So, of course, he will take some votes away from him.
You've got 20 seconds, Abdul. It's all yours. I'm shutting up.
Thank you. And also, there's an independent standing, an independent Muslim standing for election as well. Therefore, even more split in the Muslim votes. And I think possibility, I can't really remember, but I believe Lib Dems have a Muslim candidate in Luton South as well. So therefore, he's got so much more competition this year rather than he normally has, and that's why he's doing it.
Abdul, you had your 20 seconds. I hope you feel you got your say. Give us a call again next time. A bit more time. But I enjoyed that.
Interesting, and he's been paying attention, hasn't he?
It was good. Thank you, Abdul. Cheers for that. Right.
Travel news for beds, cards and bugs.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
There are queues on the A1M southbound between junction 2 for Welham Green and the M25. And on the M25 anti-clockwise, it's still looking very busy between junction 25 for Enfield and 23 for the A1M. On the M1 southbound, it's easing off now between junction 11 for Luton and 10 for the Luton Airport Spur Road after the accident there earlier on. And in Amersham on Gore Hill, it's looking very slow between the A413 and the A40 London Road. Looking at the speed sensors in High Wycombe and the Abbey flyovers, quite busy past the University College at the bottom of Marlow Hill. And on the trains, Chiltern Railway have possible delays between High Wycombe and Beaconsfield because of speed restrictions, but looking at the departure boards, there's no major problems at the moment. Samantha Bruff, BBC Three Counties Radio.
Samantha, thank you very much indeed. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Catherine, as always. Some excellent calls. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Don't forget, tomorrow between 7:30 and 8, the door is open. You can turn up if you want. We're going to play records as well. Till tomorrow at 6 from us. Ta-ta.
Local and vocal across beds, hearts and bucks.
This is BBC Three Counties Radio.
Thank you, Iain. Good morning. Welcome to the JVS show. I'm Jonathan Vernon-Smith. It's Thursday, it's 9 o'clock, and on today's Big Phone-In, do you think it's too risky to have a dog if you've got small children? The number of dog attacks reported to